Alright, let's do it.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Addicted Loop Podcast! It is yours truly, Atomic Zero, aka Brian, and my compadre over in the same room now, Tom, aka Tomality.
Hi!
It is so weird that you're not in a little corner of the screen anymore.
Like this little
your
face.
Life size. You're actually bigger in person.
It's so
which is weird.
It's so funny because there are people who, when we said that we were going to be doing this in-person episode for special Thanksgiving holiday reasons, people were like, "Wow, it's so cool that you guys are going to be like in the same
I know,
room.
we're going to meet.
This is amazing." It's
time.
like, dude, we've known each other like
for, let's see, going on 9-10 years
we've
now?
only recently not been in the same town.
We've only recently got.
But it's always cool to see you up here in the Great
Awesome.
White
Yeah,
North.
I love it. I always love coming back. It's great to come back up to the place where it all began, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's true. There were a lot of video games played in this house.
In the same house, or at my house, up the road, or
within
up
like
the
an 8-mile proximity of
and
this
everything.
is sort of the
yes.
center point.
So basically, Dom's house has always been the center point for all gatherings, for the most part.
It's true. But yeah, so we are here.
We are Addicted to Loot. We are a gaming entertainment conglomerate that specifies specifically in this podcast that goes out every week. We also do
more or less.
More or less, yeah. We also do streams, YouTube videos, and we have our Addicted to Loot podcast, as well as we're Greenman Gaming partners and Humble Bundle partners. Woo! It's a big list to actually get out every once in a while.
Yeah, and what are we? What do we do? We talk about video games.
We talk about video games. We talk at each other's faces.
We talk about video game news. We talk about video games that we've been playing during the week.
We do all the things. We try to do. We try to bring video game news in a way that's non-cynical. That we try to do it basically.
It's been hard lately.
Yeah, it's
been really
the
hard.
world has been making it a challenge, but ultimately we try to be, we try to find the silver linings in all bad situations or bad games. Try to figure out what's the exact way. We don't ever really go out of the way to say a game should be completely overlooked. We try to say like maybe this subset of person would like it, or maybe you should wait to go on sale.
Right.
Something like we try to bring the bright side of gaming to you, and usually that's what the people who will watch us actually like and enjoy. So thank you for staying tuned and actually being here with us, which are incredible, hopefully all the time, annual, in-person episodes.
Yeah,
which is great.
This is our second time
awesome.
doing this because
biannual.
We did this before Thanksgiving last year, but it was the same weekend because obviously you're up in the area for the holiday, American Thanksgiving.
For all those out there.
And we are thankful for you guys.
The day after we stuffed our face with turkey.
I was thinking that it would be kind of funny if,
Mm-hmm.
with us being in the same place. I thought it would be cool if we did like a... Remember when we had Alec on, we did like a little quiz show thing?
Yeah, it was like the game release date thing.
Yeah. It was like, did these games come out in 2005 or no? And it was like this little like question,
And everything was actually in 2005.
Yeah. It was kind of a catch. It was kind of a catch.
Yeah, you mastermind you.
I came up with another game this time.
It's a 2006.
No. There's no catch this time. There's no catch. It's another kind of quiz show game thing. But I was doing it. I was thinking,
do we need another person or something?
Yeah, well, that's the
hard to
thing.
do
Like, if I just ask you, it'd be
no
like,
point in
what's the
having
point? You
this
can't
buzzer.
like win or lose. Yeah, Brian's
I can't,
got a buzzer. He's got a buzzer. He's all set. So it's like we would need another person in order to do it.
Yeah, that really sucks. Yeah, another person? Could we?
Oh my God!
Oh shit!
Alec!
It's Alec! Oh my
What
God!
did you get
It's
here?
Alec.
It's me. I'm Alec.
It's the guy with the face. You might remember him
my
from our
God.
podcast cover from that episode.
Remember that episode where we talked about the highly successful
No Man's
2016 game?
Yeah, the game of the year, the ATL Tom Edition Game of the Year, No Man's Sky, which was super
Best game.
ever achieving success.
Alec!
Alec's
Hi.
here! Oh my God, he has
What
a
are you
face.
doing here?
It's me.
It's good to see you.
This is
I have a
Alec,
face.
our other high school gaming friend, basically, who literally lives equally distant from this house in the opposite direction of me.
Yep.
It's great. This is how this has always worked.
Yeah, so happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Genuinely, like...
Happy
it's-
belated Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, happy day after Thanksgiving that we're recording this.
Happy Shoppy Friday.
Yeah, happy Black Friday.
Friday for all
which I
those-
recently learned is actually an international thing.
Apparently, yeah.
Like, that's really weird to me.
It is strange.
Because I was seeing a lot of people on Twitter this morning that were like...
People don't celebrate Thanksgiving
Yeah.
internationally, but
But they like celebrating money.
That's the thing, is it was like, I'm seeing all these people in like the UK saying like, oh, Black Friday deals, and I'm thinking, isn't Black Friday like oh, it's the day after Thanksgiving. It's the first shopping day of Christmas or something like that.
It's the day after the U.S. Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to explain that to me, in my
Right here.
dense little brain, that would be nice because it's like.
So Tom, walk us through this game because we each have our buzzer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I got my buzzer.
Yeah.
I got mine. No, I don't.
Oh,
Now I do.
that's great.
This is
great.
why we don't bring on third parties.
This is okay. Yeah,
Oh
it gets
my
real
God.
complicated. Okay, so we're gonna play a game. And in fact, would anyone else be interested in joining this game? Yes or no?
We only have 2 buzzers.
Yes or no? I heard a laugh from behind the camera.
Sure.
You interested in joining? Okay, it's Brian's wife, Liz.
Oh, sweet! I get a buzzer.
Hi, Liz. Oh shoot, we didn't think about that. Hey, that is using our resources. Oh, okay, good. That's a loud noise. Okay, so we're gonna play a game. This game is called.
I lost my buzzer.
This game is called Overwatch or Restaurant.
I'm here for it.
What? So I'm gonna say a quote or a slogan, and it's either gonna be a voice line from the video game Overwatch or a slogan from
I'm the only person
a
here who's
restaurant.
played Overwatch, so I don't know if this is going to
This
be...
would be
Brian-
interesting.
Brian has a slight advantage for Overwatch. Alec has a slight advantage for
restaurants.
restaurants. Liz, do you play Overwatch or eat at restaurants? Have you ever eaten food in your life?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so just an example, just to kind of prime everyone. Wake up with the king. Overwatch or restaurant?
Restaurant.
Fairly obvious. Wake up with the king. That's Burger King. That's a restaurant.
Do we have to name the restaurant?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh.
you get bonus points here.
Okay.
Justice reigns from above. This is an example. Yeah.
Overwatch.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
Alright,
kind
from
of
Overwatch.
yeah. That's kind of what you're gonna get here. Okay. So we're gonna start off with some easy ones. Have it your way. Ooh, I think that was Brian.
Restaurant.
Yes. Which one?
Burger King.
Yeah. Exactly. Was that you? Did you
Yeah.
actually? That was like pitch perfect. So weird. Okay, here's another one. Never second best.
Restaurant? I had a
Nope.
50-50 shot.
Overwatch. Well, yeah, but who?
Oh, we gotta name who.
Yeah, now you gotta name who. If it's wrong, you gotta name what it is.
Is it Tracer?
No.
You are hiding behind
You know Overwatch characters. Okay.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
It's that girl.
What character generally says never second best? What archetype? Just guess. Take a guess.
It would be some
Sombra?
brute.
Is it Sombra?
Tanzo.
Oh,
Never second
because
best.
of the brother thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another one. So good, it's scary.
Overwatch.
Ooh.
He's playing Overwatch.
It's not Trace. It's not. This one isn't Tracer. No, it's a female voice. No, it's Reaper. It's Reaper, right? Is it Reaper?
Nope.
Damn it!
I don't think you guys would guess. It's Lucio. So good, it's scary. All right. Make it great. You're just guessing.
Restaurant?
Which one?
The Make It Great restaurant? From Make It Great.
You guys can still guess. It's gonna be a popular restaurant or diner.
Subway?
Mm-mm.
No, let's make it.
Make it great. This is an obscure one.
Sonic, I don't know.
No, Pizza Hut.
Oh.
Pizza
I
Hut.
know, right? Yeah.
Who eats a pizza?
Okay.
That's the real question.
Here's one. I'm thinking Arby's. Okay, everybody?
Overwatch.
Ooh. Tracer. How'd you know, Tracer? Orisa. Step into the dojo.
Overwatch?
Your
Overwatch?
voice is getting progressively higher as you realize.
We're gonna have to settle my game now.
Overwatch?
Ooh.
Is it? It's not Hanzo.
Yes, it is.
It's Hanzo. Okay.
Step into the dojo.
Yeah. Okay.
More grease to your elbow.
Overwatch?
Yes.
Don't ask me who.
Yeah, that's Orisa.
I really hoped
Oh, it is.
That's
that.
Orisa, yeah.
I really only said Overwatch because I was hoping that that's
Yeah.
not the restaurant slogan.
That's why I picked it.
Is it KFC?
KFC, more grease in your elbow. Beer.
Overwatch?
Yeah, who?
Torbjorn?
Reinhardt.
Reinhardt, yeah.
The big night guy. Beer!
Beer.
It's in the refrigerator. Okay, you've been answered too many, Alex.
Overwatch?
Yeah.
Is it May?
Reaper.
It is? No. No.
Mm-mm,
I feel like-
Toasty.
Oh no.
Do you want to borrow my buzzer?
Actually, I can't remember now.
Overwatch?
Anyone else want to guess?
I feel like you don't understand the concept of a singular buzzer.
Again, it's toasty.
Restaurant.
Which one?
I
Quiznos?
didn't get that
That's
far.
okay, that's alright. You still got it.
Is it Quiznos?
It's Quiznos.
I forgot about that one, yeah.
Half point? They should get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half
Are we
point
keep-
split
are
up
we
a
keeping
bubble.
score?
I have no.
You wrote it.
If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
abstain
this
from
is
that
an
one.
uncomfortable moment.
Yeah, that's right, it's neither.
I hope it's not a restaurant.
Wait, are you saying Overwatch?
Yes.
Who in Overwatch would say that?
In what context?
Junkrat.
Reaper.
If it doesn't get all over the place. Oh, that's Soldier 76.
Yeah, that's
It doesn't belong in your face. It's Carl's Jr. restaurant.
No way.
Oh yeah, because they always have the model with that's eating the joke
Racy,
first.
underrated slogan for Carl's Jr.
Yeah, the porn food restaurant
Yup.
ads. Okay. Can I say that?
Can I say that?
Let's bleep that out. Let's move on.
This is probably the hardest one.
Overwatch.
Anyone want some barbecue?
Anyone want some barbecue? Overwatch.
Who is it?
And it's what was the one that started with a T that you kept saying?
Junkrat.
That one.
As a T at the end.
Torbjorn?
Torbjorn.
It's Junkrat, isn't it?
Yeah. Smells like victory.
Overwatch? Crazy?
Soldier 76.
Oh, because he has the grilling outfit now. Yeah.
The rooster crows at midnight. Brian?
Overwatch?
Yes.
Sinatra.
Soldier 76
Nice.
again.
Don't you actually play the game?
I don't use the quotes on. I only have like 3 quotes unlocked. Shut up.
It's in the bag.
Is it Chick-fil-A?
Your expression like it's not.
But is it still a restaurant?
It's not Jack in the Box, obviously.
No.
Jack
Is
in
it
the Bag.
Wendy's.
No.
McDonald's?
This is Overwatch. It's Tracer. The one you kept saying. If you're gonna go all out.
DQ. What is there besides DQ?
Blizzard?
No, Blizzard makes Overwatch.
Yeah, but Blizzard's also an ice cream company.
Oh, I don't know.
Hardee's.
He had an
Hardee's.
Hardee's.
Oh, I mean Hardee's.
Hardee's. I love that place. I love that guy. You got 30 minutes.
Domino's.
Sorry.
Thank you, Liz. Correct, Liz. You did a good job, Liz.
Good job. God, Alex, you're
Domino's.
hurt.
Buzz.
How'd you?
The
Two of you were like,
We're
we'll
together."
answer. We'll answer. Say bacon one more time.
Restaurant?
No.
Damn it!
Soldier 70 what?
6?
Say bacon one more time. Oh, it's Roadhog. No,
that's right, yeah.
In
So many
Overwatch.
food references. in
I know.
Overwatch.
All right, here's one. Everyone dies. You better not say restaurant. Everyone dies.
Welcome to the food chain.
McDonald's.
Welcome to McDonald's. Everyone dies. I think the end. That was the
Yay!
end. Everyone dies.
Yay!
Who won?
Liz, clearly. So,
Thank you. Thank you for that.
thank you guys so much for playing this fantastic game. You're welcome to stick around if you. Okay, that's all right.
So after that awesome, incredible game, thank you, Tom, aka the video game hosting Tom.
Apparently, this is what I do.
Yes.
I'd like to draw special attention to.
I like.
him.
Oh.
So you do things, right? You do things with games.
Yeah, sometimes.
And back to Tommy.
Yeah, games are
After
good.
that riveting interview.
No, for real.
So, yeah, so what do you do?
Alec, for those who might remember when we had him on last year, is very much a console, specifically PlayStation gamer. Has been known to occasionally, once in a while,
Switch it up.
switch it up.
I do. Yes, I do switch it up, and I will be switching it up shortly
With
the Nintendo Wii U.
Damn it.
Oh no, the Switch. Yeah.
That one.
Those are really cheap these days.
They actually are, but that's.
I feel like it should
Is there like a game on the Switch you're looking forward to? Is it?
Well, obviously Zelda.
Yeah, it's so
I mean-
good. It's such a good game.
Yes.
Oh my frick! Yeah, I know, right? Like, I mean, it's Finn's sword, but
It's close.
It's close enough, right?
I mean,
You know.
what sold me on it was, I mean, I've never played a Zelda game, and aside from a Game Boy Advance, I've never owned a Nintendo product.
You never played a Zelda game?
Never played a Zelda
Really?
game. So what completely sold me on the game was my friend bought it, and so I got to play a little bit of it.
This is Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the
by way,
Wild,
I'm talking about.
And the 100% seller is yeah, you can chop down trees. So I was like, yeah,
Really? Chopping
yeah,
down
that,
tree?
Yeah.
that is 100%.
But like that game, I don't know how much of it that you played, but it's a completely systems-driven game. Everything that can happen, everything that you can do, the creatures can do, the NPCs can do. Like I will never forget the point where I was playing, and there was like a large enemy and a small enemy, and the small enemy was like shooting a bow at me, and I was just deflecting it. Large enemy had no weapon. He looked down at the small guy, picked him up, and chucked him at me. I was just like, this is my game of the year forever. Just in the pure fact that it's like, oh, I see a possible weapon, him. And it's like, you can, if you attack a skeleton, their bones fall apart, and you can pick up the arm and hit another enemy with it. It's
That's
just,
very intuitive. It's very very cool.
and it all makes sense. It's like everything just works the way you think it should. It's such a good game. I love Breath of the Wild so much.
And it's very pretty to look at
It's
too.
a gorgeous game.
Can
There's so much to it.
Can we please go back? Why? What about chopping wood makes it so
What
good?
about?
Chopping
I
trees?
don't know. I just thought that
It's
in any game that has
Chopping
the ability to
animations?
chop a tree down is a winner in
Yeah.
my book. I mean,
Alright.
Yeah.
So,
I love my
alright.
deforestation
Exactly.
simulator.
well, you put it that way. I mean.
Yeah, but no, legitimately, it's just, again, it's a game of like,
Well,
the parts combine. It's like everything you think of. It's like, oh, I want to climb this ledge, but it's raining, so I can't, or I'd slip, you know. And it's just like, in any other game that'd be an annoying mechanic, but because it's like
It fits.
this game's world is so alive that it's like, yeah, oh, okay, I have to wait for the rain to pass before I can climb up that ledge to get to my objective.
Well, it's really neat because you know you're exploring the world and you're like, I don't really know the buttons. I don't really know what's going on. I'm just my friend handed it to me. Oh, can I climb that tree?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you can climb that tree. Oh wow, that's cool. You just explore.
I remember.
And you're just kind of doing various things. So that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
And apart from reading the reviews and whatnot, obviously it's a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that to me sounds.
I remember us being like 14, 15, seeing stuff in like gaming mags and whatever that's like, see that castle in the background of this scene? You
can
go
actually-
there.
yeah.
And it just was like this, wow, mind-blowing thing. And nowadays that's like from, that's like a mile, not even.
It's not that far away.
And then half a mile, it's just like, oh, okay, and it's this linear path. This is the type of game that's like, see that? It's yours. Just everything the light touches is our kingdom. Like, it's just open. It's the best, open world game. It does it well. Maybe you like it.
Maybe,
because
I
it
don't
does
know.
it doesn't have the annoying things that a lot of open world
I
games
mean,
have.
there is an emulator that you may or may not be able to use.
Yeah, I don't own a Switch, so
That might let you play it on PC if
Yeah.
you really like that.
and the modding community is insane. But
Yeah.
we don't condone such behaviors here at
Unless it's for your own personal game.
officially. So our official stance is don't do it. Anyway, it's a great friggin' game, and I recommend anybody try Breath of the Wild. It's like if you're not into video games, or if you don't play a lot of
Don't
video
play it.
games, it'll make sense to you. It's friendly. It makes sense for the Switch, right? This thing that's like, oh, I'm going to play it on my TV and just settle in, or oh, I'm going to take it on the go or wherever, you know.
Yeah, but besides the Switch, what else have you been getting into? Like, what's been up in the PlayStation world?
Well, not a whole lot. Just because a lot of the games I've been looking forward to are coming out next year. A lot of big PlayStation AAA titles.
2017.
But I did actually. I bought I Am Setsuna last year, and I kind of played a little bit of it. But it takes a little bit to get into. But once you do, and I just recently beat it, it's very nostalgic. So I grew up with Final Fantasy games.
I don't know anything about it.
It that's how it, it's got, the small, it's not sprites anymore, obviously, but they kind of emulate that.
Like, what is it?
It's an RPG.
Yeah.
It's like the old Final Fantasy RPG game.
So it's
Final
like
Fantasy,
you're
like
playing
6,
a
7.
character,
Right.
and
You have like a party, and there's like so it starts off, there's this little girl, I Am Setsuna, and basically what happens is she's a sacrifice. So she goes and sacrifices her body to keep the monsters at bay, because the monsters are attacking whatever the towns and whatnot. So they do that every year or something like that, and that's how they live in peace momentarily.
Does 1 year they forget it and then like it happens? And
Well, I don't want to
spoil.
I don't want to spoil anything, but it's there's more to it than just that, and so it was a neat little game. It was like Square Enix did it, and it's just a small team, and they used the Unity to create it all, and it was a good game. It was fun. It was cute. Like the monsters were kind of cute, and little penguins.
So
and
is it
whatnot.
like, Kuni?
No, it's
Because that sounds similar to.
It's basically, so you have your party members. So there's 3 of you.
Yeah.
There's the enemies. You attack them, and then it's just.
Is it turn-based?
Well, it is. You can have it like wait. So you attack, and you have to attack items.
Yeah.
And
Fight
and
item,
you fight,
flee.
right? And it's like that. You kill the enemy,
Yeah,
and then
breaks
you
all.
go. Yeah, it's stuff like that. And
Finish down.
yeah, and the battle system's a little. It's a little interesting. There's no defend. There's nothing like that, and there's like when you use how you like Final Fantasy games have like a limit break.
Yeah.
Once you do that, you unleash like a
A
special
powerful
one.
attack, something like
Well, they'll have a gauge that fills up, and you'll have 3 orbs, and whenever you use like a magic ability or an attack, you can press square at the right moment, and it'll do more damage or something like that.
Cool.
So it's
So there's a skill involved.
yeah,
There's a.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The story was entertaining. The ending, I was kind of.
What's that? Paparazzo.
But the ending was like, it was alright. It could have answered a little more questions. It kind of just ended.
That's a problem I've been having with a lot of games lately.
But
More questions than answers.
right,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, what happened?
It comes screaming into the finish line.
Yeah.
But it was just a small little game. It took enough time. But
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming on. We're going to be having him on for the entire length.
Sound like you're like, oh, well, this has been fun.
Yeah, but we're extremely thankful and excited that Al can join us today. So we're actually getting into our typical news and playlist that we usually do. We're actually going to try to adjust most of this to also be PC and PlayStation. Or just basically PC, console, gaming.
I'm just looking at the
everything.
fact that we're going to be talking about Animal Crossing.
Mobile.
It's like,
So,
let's talk
and
about
even
PC
mobiles.
and PS4.
But so we want to start out just real quick. Wolfenstein 2, the newest Wolfenstein 2, that is, the new Colossus, is getting a demo. It's getting a free demo that you can actually play to do the opening missions. Really not much there besides the fact that we talked about this last week, I believe. It was at least last week, if not 2 weeks ago. I thought it was last week. That we talked about the game. So if you're interested in the game, if you actually want to try it out, if you've never played Wolfenstein, I'd highly recommend the demo. Anyone else who played Wolfenstein, the new Wolfenstein 1, I think you probably already sold on Wolfenstein 2, but for everyone else, they're getting a new demo.
Yeah, I feel bad. I started to download it, and just like halfway through, I was like, I'm not gonna play this. It's like I know I try to play demos. I try to play things that I don't usually play, but I'm looking at what I'm playing right now. I'm like,
There's too much
the
under
motivation
play, I mean.
isn't there.
Yeah.
To,
There's
I'm sure
lot
it's a good
going on
game.
right now.
I'm sure it's a good game, and I'm sure it's a good demo too. I don't
Most
know.
likely, yeah.
I just
People say the opening mission's really good.
yeah. I absolutely always encourage people to try demos, and I'm so glad demos. Like I don't know if it's the same on PS4, but it feels like they're coming back.
Oh yeah, certainly they are.
Yeah.
What did I play recently for a demo?
It's like both demos and like free play weekends.
Are
And
starting
things
to-
like
Yeah, they're
that.
doing a lot of that,
Yeah.
and a lot of
And
betas.
they work because I was playing. I talked a few weeks ago about a game, Torment Tides at Numenera.
Yeah.
It was just a free weekend, and I was like, yeah, I kind of was interested in this game when it was announced. This will be great, and I only needed to play like 2-3 hours of it to say yes, I'm gonna buy it. And usually that comes with a sale. This past weekend, I'll be talking about it later, but I played Endless Space 2,
Which is also on sale now, yeah.
and the weekend was enough. That's
Yeah.
the short version of it. I really liked it, but it was also like, cool, I've now played this in my life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's
You
like,
have that.
it's like sometimes there are demos, I remember especially back, I'm looking at the PS2 back at that period of time, where it was like, I was fine with just the one level that came with a demo. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, maybe it's a racing game with 2 tracks and 2 cars.
Yeah.
But this is still fun. I'm not going to buy the full game. This is still, I'm getting,
It's enough.
I'm getting
It
pleasure. out of it.
scratches an itch
Yeah.
and lets you figure out what the game's about without actually fully diving right into it.
Well, yeah, you're talking about demos. I just remembered when Gran Turismo Sport,
Yeah.
they had a demo,
Yeah.
and they released it
That's
for
right.
a few days. So I was able to play that. And I'm
Project
like,
Cars 2 now has a demo.
yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah.
The only thing that stinks is you have to download the whole game, and it's just
Oh,
a little bit. So, but
80 gigabytes.
if you decide to buy it, they
Yeah.
just give you a key and you
Like
unlock
3.5.
it. But it, you
Yeah.
know, it was entertaining. I had to see the game. I was like, oh, this is really good. But I mean, it's like, it's not
Right,
not so much.
and that's
I want.
why
I mean, that's
demos are
good.
great, because you can say, instead of, I'm going to drop $60-$80 on this game, Overwatch has free weekends all the time. That's perfect.
They just had one.
Because, yeah, Overwatch is a great game to say in like 2 or 3 matches, you're going to know if you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. And it's like, instead of spending $50 on this game, you were like, oh, this is this multiplayer only thing, I don't like that, or whatever.
Yep.
Or, holy shit, I never would, I know some friends on Twitter that were like, finally I'll try it
Yeah.
this weekend and see, and they
It's
bought
great.
it. They bought it, you know. So
I really do hope it's a practice that comes
Yeah.
back, at least in the AAA space, because most of the time, especially on Steam, most indie games actually came with some, like, depending on the developer, a good amount of indie games came with a demo option. But it's actually nice to see some AAA people bringing it back. But
right, and also you get a lot of beta weekends. I don't know if you get that.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
But
And
it's
I
really-
know that it fills kind of this double role of like promoting the game and also stress testing servers.
Yeah.
That's how I did
I mean-
Destiny 2.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
We all did.
Overwatch. We
We
played
did
the beta,
Overwatch,
and
we
we were
did-
like, "This is great. Let's buy this."
We did a lot of, we did a lot,
Oh,
good
yeah.
amount of betas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird because like an indie beta is actually very much, like you said, it's figuring out the game, it's
Early
stress
access.
testing- yeah, it's basically early access, but with the beta title.
Mhm.
A beta in a AAA game anymore, it's just kind of like, the game's basically done, you have a free
Right.
couple days to figure out if you want to buy it, like that's it.
I mean, in my case,
and it's not that bad, it's like, it's not a bad thing, it's just, you know what I mean, it's not a true beta.
in my case, it's usually does this game work on my computer?
Exactly, yeah.
You know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's
But
they're
which is weird
literally.
because Destiny did work. And
I know Destiny's this weird exception.
And
I
then
don't know
the-
if you know about this, but
Yeah, the-
Destiny 2, the beta, worked perfectly on my computer.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
played it for the whole weekend and I was like, this is great, I love this, I can't wait to own this
Yeah.
game. Then the game came out and I pre-ordered it, I fired it up and it's like, it's not starting. I go and look and people say, oh, it's that Phenom 2 processor that I have.
Oh, right.
And so my first reaction was like, fair enough, whatever. Wait a minute, I played this
Yeah.
game 2 weeks ago
Yeah,
on
exactly.
this computer.
Yep.
Wait a minute. And so it was something that they had changed in between that period of
Oh,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
And very quickly they were like, oh no, it's available.
It's back.
It's back.
Everyone
it's
breathe.
back. And it's kind of like a use it at your own risk,
Mhm.
but works for me.
Yep.
I've probably logged 800 hours in Destiny since.
Really? Wow.
He managed to get 2 characters to a power level above me from my main that I've been marathoning.
273 and 268.
Yeah, so literally,
Wow.
it was like he had a
And
character.
the max is 3.
I started before him. I basically beat the game before him. I was at the end game. The next 2 days, he was above me in power on his main. The next
I like
3
it.
days,
I like it a lot.
he was above me on his alt. I was like, God damn it, Tommy!
Wow.
I was like, I'm just gonna make a warlock on the side.
I love the world.
And he's sitting there going,
We'll be talking more about Destiny.
yeah,
too,
definitely, yeah,
but
so we don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it's just funny how that actually worked. But this is a big one because we haven't done mobile in what was the
Oh, we're
last-
segueing. Oh, I'm like,
We haven't done mobile since what?
just for
Pokemon
people
Go?
who are watching, we have like a script. Right
Yeah, so
here,
we-
so that's why we're kind of looking off camera.
We've had what was
Yeah.
the last mobile game? Was it Pokemon Go on our very first episode ever?
Yeah, I mean we've kind of referenced a couple, but our very
A few
first episode we talked
We
about
did Pokemon
the release
Go.
of Pokemon
But
Go.
yeah, so we're gonna go back to another mobile game, mainly because you heard Tommy talk about it numerous times over the past year.
I've been waiting like my whole life for this. So there's a new Animal Crossing game out, and it's Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It is out now on your mobile device for free. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It makes so much sense that it would be on mobile. It's like, because Animal Crossing, I don't know how to really describe it. It's like this cute kind of life management game, very lightweight version of life management. It's not like The Sims where it's like you gotta manage your hunger and your thirst and things like that. But you live in an area. So like, there was Animal Crossing City Folk on the Wii, and you live in this town, you go to the city. What was it, New Leaf? Someone on the 3DS?
Don't look at me.
Oh,
You
yeah,
played it.
Yeah,
I don't think either of us played it.
maybe that was the most recent one. But the last one I had played was City Folk on the Wii 9-10 years ago. I loved it. It was so great. But again, it's something that you fire up your console, you sit down, you're playing the game, and the town is running in real time. So if it's 9 o'clock and nighttime in real life, it is in the game. And characters are like, hey, you out for an evening stroll? You know, and there's stuff that kind of happens depending on the season. The trees change, you know, snow on the ground during the winter, stuff like that. Little secret things that happen. And like to have it on your phone, it's just, oh, yes, it's this little virtual world with these adorable animals and my little, it's like an alternate reality kind of thing. And it just makes more sense that it would be this thing that you pull out and it's like, it's my persistent pocket world, you know? I absolutely love it. I'm a huge dyed-in-the-wool fan of Animal Crossing. I think that it does all the Animal Crossing stuff, at least that I want. It doesn't feel like it's pared down for mobile. Certainly there's stuff they changed. Like it's, instead of one big open area, it's kind of localized. So here's the area where you go to catch bugs. Here's the area where you catch ocean fish. Here's the area where you catch river fish. Here's the marketplace. And the animals rotate where they are. And as you talk to animals, you attract more to your town. You're building up a campsite. You talk to animals. If you get to a high enough level with an animal, they'll give you items or whatever. Through means you get crafting materials and you can build stuff for your custom campsite. Certain things you put in your campsite attract certain animals, etc., etc., etc. You have also been playing it.
Yeah, I have.
You have no experience with
Mobiles at all? No, never.
Yeah, and it was really funny because I don't know.
You're fine.
This is gonna be completely open. This is gonna be completely new.
Shoot for it.
New information. But Brian said, "Oh, I'll try Animal Crossing." I was like, "I don't
I don't recommend it.
think this would be your kind of game." Like, I would highly 1,000% recommend it
Besides me.
to people who know they're gonna like it. You know.
But, yeah, that's a weird, but who knows who they're gonna like it.
What have your?
It's a mobile game. I guess that's my big takeaway. It's a
Because you're not the first person I've heard to say that.
It's just for me. It's a passable mobile game. It's better than it's not a freemium game, but it's a game that's a
yeah,
time
there's no
passer.
like pay. You can pay
you
to
can,
accelerate stuff, but it doesn't.
I see
feel
no
like
reason
it.
to.
Yeah.
Like I've been getting enough like the in-game currency to
Yeah.
do whatever I need.
Yeah.
It's
It's more
not a
like I'm going to
freemium
build a
game.
cabinet in 2 hours or immediately.
Yeah, it's like
You know.
I don't feel like there's a paywall. I don't think it's freemium. It's not the greatest a game. It's not groundbreaking. It's a solid mobile game. It's not a game that I'm going to be marathoning or like glued to or anything else like that. I think I don't know.
It's bumming me out that I'm not playing it right now.
Like for me, I'd rate it. It's like a solid 3 out of 5. But then probably in a couple of days, I'm gonna uninstall it. Like that's it. Like I'm not.
There are other
it's-
people who I've heard say exactly that, and it is
It's
people
not
who.
bad. I just get my fill of it real quick.
Yeah, it's people who I either would, like in your case, would expect would have that reaction. And I don't mean that I don't think it's your type of game.
No, it really
you know,
It's not usually my type of game.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Harvest Moon type of games. Like I like Harvest Moon and like stuff like that.
Harvest Moon is too much for me. Harvest Moon is too much.
I need something. That's the problem. Like,
Harvest Moon is too goal-oriented for me. It's too like you must manage this farm. You must
want
keep these cows alive. That's too much responsibility.
Just go talk. Just go talk to people and interact.
Right. It's like
that to me. It's just like, all right. I want a game that gives me some kind of substance besides.
I like social interaction.
When you play it, you find yourself sitting down for a long period of time. I mean, a long period of time mobile game is kind of tough.
Yeah.
Unless you
I'm
have
sitting in
someplace
this
to
chair.
go.
I was gonna say,
Is it just throughout the day? You're just I'm gonna check this probably for 5 minutes, see how my guys are gonna go catch fish or something, or
it's more of the sitting down for a period of time, but then because you can like max out your amount of interactions with an
That was
animal
my thing.
in that period of time. Which, when I say interactions, it's like an animal will say, "Hey, get me 2 apples," and then either you have them or you go find them, and then you go back to that animal, you give them the 2 apples, they're like, "Thank you, I love you," and they say something cute, and your friendship level goes up. As that friendship level accumulates, you get experience, which is what leads you to more items, more animals. So that's your kind of goal, if anything. If you want to gamify it, that's, you know what I mean, though? Like, if you want to give it a game, quote, 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 but then you'll either max that out, or like the shop, the marketplace has a handful of items that reset every 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm thinking in the back of my mind, okay, it's almost 1 o'clock. I'm not going to play right now, but at 1 o'clock I'm going to play, and I'll probably play for 15 minutes.
Right.
Like I'll do a bunch of interactions.
Yeah, and then kind of going back to your point, for me, when I got my camp passed through like the initial upkeep, the initial running of it, where you get like the first 3 or 4 animals, and then
there's kind of like a slightly tutorialized getting your stuff up and running.
I got all my animals. I got most of my camp filled up. After that, it's to the point where I can just play for 5 minutes and just like feel like I got some progress and then move on. I mean, but that's the problem. Like
I'm finding that it's a great like laying in bed.
Yeah,
I'm about
that's
to go to sleep.
That's probably the best.
Maybe
thing for
20 minutes of like I'm checking up on everything. Maybe I'll see because part of it as I have some stuff in mind for my camp. I've started building a concert venue there. I've started.
I wonder that you were building.
Yeah, I've started converting it into like a stage. I'm building a half pipe now behind the concert venue, so I'm like, Warp Tour is going out of business next year. There's no more Warp Tour. So Warp Tour is now moving to my Animal Crossing camp. So if you want to go to Warp Tour,
get your tickets now.
It's free. It's free, man. It's free. But no, seriously, like you get a camper. You can customize a camper. So it's like I'm having fun thinking, oh, this will be this room. I'll put this couch here. I got a bicycle. I'll put the bicycle here.
The largest wall for me that's preventing me from actually liking this game is the fact that your campsite is so small. Like, I don't have enough to structure it the way I want to structure it. Because right now it's kind of like you need to get items to get certain animals.
Yeah.
But in order to put those items in the camp actively to get those animals in, you have to take stuff out. You have to constantly swap things in, swap things out. I want to be able to build, craft, and instantly just put in wherever I want them and just have one big, ever-evolving camp.
2 things.
I know you get something at level 10. But
yeah, it's a single item.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Two things on what you just said. One being, I'm trained by past Animal Crossing games to know that that's how small your lot is. Like that's par for the course to have a small. It's grid based. If Minecraft, it would be like
you get 2 little rooms basically that you can
6 by 6.
It's super.
Like, as far
it's
as
not.
grid,
Yeah, it's not tiny. Or it's not big at all. It's
maybe
super tiny.
7 by 7. It's small. It's very tight.
Because I want to be able to have. Here's my campfire plot. Here's my barbecue area. And here's my music area.
You know very much that it's like, okay, this is
it.
And there's kind of like a second area. But the other thing is, the thing about, and there's been some memes already about certain animals, to attract them to your camp, you have to build certain items that they want.
Yeah.
And there's like a really funny one going around where it's like, bitch, I've been collecting all sorts of bugs and fruits for you, and you don't like the lamps I have? That's what it is. That's the kind
of, basically, and I don't know, that's what's preventing me from falling in love with the game. It's just kind of like, eh.
I understand that from the mobile game standpoint of, here is goal to achieve to get thing here's your mission to get thing you want. That will take time. That will keep you playing. So, but, I don't know.
Like I said, I'm probably going to play it for maybe a day or 2 more and then just uninstall it.
I'm in for the long run. I like it. Surprising no one. Surprising
more
nobody.
you
I
didn't
love
like
it.
it.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you would like it.
Yeah, I haven't downloaded it yet. 'Cause, I just haven't got around to it. I was going to download it the other day, but it wasn't out yet, so.
Yeah, well, the big surprise is that it was coming out, and it was only announced like a week before that. I was like, oh, this is coming out next Wednesday. And I thought, great, awesome. So I'm laying in bed Tuesday, like early in the morning UK time, and I'm seeing people who are friends.
Which means like
People who are
where there's
like,
no
like,
business to be up on the U.S. side.
Yeah, and this is my way of trying to make it sound good. But basically, I'm seeing people who I follow that are in the UK saying, Animal Crossing is live. I'm playing it. I'm playing it right now. And so I went and looked, and sure enough, they had released it just no pomp and circumstance, no fanfare, a whole day early. It's like, cool. There were a couple server connections, but it seems like they've ironed it out. It works. It's free. It runs great on my phone, and my phone's shit. So it
There's your review.
It runs perfectly on my phone, and my phone's shit. That's the back of the box for Animal Crossing.
But yeah, it's free. I'd say go out and try
fans
it.
of sim games, fans of lifestyle.
It is a tap simulator. I will say that much. It is very much a tap simulator.
What makes you say that?
Tap this tree. Keep tapping to catch this fish. Tap at the right time to tap this bug to capture the bug.
See, that's Animal Crossing.
But
If
I'm
it's
saying
not
that's
tapping,
what
you're
it
pressing
is.
the button on
But
the
it's
GameCube controller.
But I mean, from my perspective, that's all it is. And
It's
that's why
not.
it's just kind of like it's
not an interactive.
It's busy work the mobile game. That's it.
I love that shit.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like it. It's literally like this is just me doing errands for people. And
do you play The Sims?
We have played The Sims together.
Yeah, but like The Sims.
I've enjoyed The Sims, yes.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed The Sims in the sense of like I'm sitting down and playing? I'm going to have a town in a household.
Yes, but I like the fact that I can build the houses, build the town, do this, customize that, level up my guy, level up these guys, have a career. There's more layers to it besides.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go out and get this apple for this dog. Here you go. Now get me another bug.
The dog's so cute.
Here's another bug. Now get me a fish. Why the hell do you need these things? And then it's just kind of like, I guess I'll come to your camp now if you build a pink cow. It's just like, what? It's
a cute game.
It's tap, tappity, tap, 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 shut off. Like, that's the game. Like,
right brain, left brain. It's cute and I like the colors.
If anything, get it for that.
Get it for the colors.
I'm not taking it away, but that's just my impression, and that's just.
And I've seen both my perspective and your perspective in like equal measure, and I've seen.
Is he middle brain then? Like, what is he?
I'm a parent. See, I'm
Snap.
outright, I wouldn't play the Sims
Can
by
robots feel?
Spinal cord.
See, I don't play the Sims by myself. It's way too much. It's overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
But I can play with friends. Like when we play on the PS2, that version.
Oh, PS2
I can
version
do
of
that.
4 fingers. Oh god.
So that's fun.
The PlayStation 2 version of
The
The
very
Sims
first one to ever have co-op.
was literally a third-person RPG.
Yeah.
It was you're
That's why
controlling
it
the
was
sim
fun.
and walking around your town or your house, I guess.
Or with a fire extinguisher when your house is
Or
on
with a
fire.
fire
Or your
extinguisher.
roommate's
Yeah.
on fire.
We had so much fun with that. But as a
You
strictly,
But other than that, Sims no interest. It's just too much. It's very overwhelming for me. I'm like, I have to.
Like, I haven't played
it is.
eat.
It is.
Oh, you have
overwhelming.
to. I have to eat.
Yeah.
So-
I have, that's exactly it. Because it's like my sim has to pee. I have to pee, and it get on.
So,
Yeah.
but like with the mobile version, Animal Crossing.
Mhm.
Again, I'll try it out and see, but that might be different because I always have my phone on me, so I could just be, in my room. Let me just check this for 5 minutes.
You could be eating and
I could be
like,
making
that's
food
exactly
and then just
it.
check it.
Yeah.
I don't have to be like, okay,
I think you
have
could
to
play
make
it.
sure I get a job. I have to make sure I eat. I have to make sure I go to bed.
Right.
I gotta pick up that plate. I don't want it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I will agree. As like the token diehard fan of The Sims, there's a lot that I automate or cheese. There are cheats and things like that where it's like, I just don't want to have to worry about peeing right now. Like, I'm trying to, in the game, level up my guitar skill or something like that. And it's like, every 5 seconds, it's like, I'm hungry, I have to pee, I'm hungry, I have to pee. It's like, I wish that there was a Sims, and this isn't really possible, like, through cheats, but I wish there was a Sims that ran slower. I wish that the days took longer in the game. Because it really is, I wish this in a lot of games, but it really is kind of like, wake up, go to work, come back from work, make food, take a shower? Did I shower this morning? Oh my god, I'm tired.
Like,
it's just like
if you have
there's no time for hobbies.
Right, if you have an
know?
objective,
Life the simulator.
Well,
if you have an objective, you're like, I want to do this one thing. Okay, well now the Sims is like, oh, let's just stretch this out.
yeah,
I want to complete it, but no. You have
eating in The
this other
Sims
stuff.
takes a good hour and a half in game,
Right.
and it's like this, I'm like, oh my god, all right, now go on the computer and level up your writing skill.
But that's
You know,
why
it's
you
like,
have more than one sim to balance
see, I don't
out.
know. I want to play The Sims where I'm playing me.
You
You know,
want,
that's the thing.
You want Second Life, the simulator.
I want my life. I want me in real life.
You want to play
like the
yourself,
cool me.
playing yourself.
I want to play a cooler version of me.
not-
I want to play like a taller version of me.
Only difference
The
is-
simulator.
with more specifically coiffured hair that I can change color of in an instant. I can literally say, "Blue, you're blue now." You know, that's literally how I play The Sims. And I know other people play The Sims like, oh, I want to have a family, I want to have kids. I've never had kids in The Sims. I've never done anything that I haven't done in real life. Usually when I play The Sims, I make the house I'm in, the friends I have. Liz doesn't know I'm pointing at her right now. And, it's not even like a fantasy game for me. Besides being the cooler me.
Everything's the same that Tom walks in.
Except he's got different shoes.
Six packs,
Well, it's
abs,
me
he's
with-
8 foot tall. He's just like,
I mean, it's me,
hey
but
guys.
yeah, it's me, but with sunglasses all the time, 24 hours a day. And he walks around.
But
and
we're
he's
so
like,
cool and lame. Like that's it. He
Yeah.
makes everyone around him lame.
he calls Cool Brian and Cool Alec over and says, "Do you want to?"
We're all slightly shorter.
Yeah,
Slightly shorter, slightly skinnier.
and also hilariously ugly. And so I stand and say, "Hey, let's take a selfie of my ugly friends." And so we all pose, and I'm just like, "This is great."
You're
I
sitting
crop
there
you guys
gleaming-
out.
You're the gleaming god of simdom.
I crop you guys out and put a poster mural-sized picture of me on the wall. So I walk by every day, and I'm like, "That's a cool guy." That's how I play The Sims. So anyway, Animal Crossing
thing is
Pocket
unavailable.
Camp is out, and it's great. So in a series of remasters that have been coming out, I think all by the same company, Beamdog.
Just about, yeah.
Neverwinter Nights is getting an enhanced edition remaster.
Enhanced in what way? Are we thinking just like
I think
graphics updates?
Before we recorded, we were talking about it. I think I said spit, shine, and polish.
Yeah,
that's
basically.
that's it.
It's literally just like a graphics overhaul, making it modernized.
yeah,
making it
it's
look
not like
pretty.
they're changing
They're
content.
not adding on
Yeah.
stuff or changing missions
Right.
or anything else like
This
that.
is a lot like I think they did the original Baldur's Gate. They
Yep.
did. I think they did Baldur's Gate 2, Planescape Torment, a couple other games. The same company has taken these classic Icewind Dale. Has taken these classic RPGs and has just been freshening them up. It's an HD
Basically, yeah.
re-release of the same game. I don't know about you, but we played a good amount of Neverwinter Nights back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Neither of us owned it.
No.
We played it at a friend's house, and was it one or two?
It was, I think, 2.
Was it 2? Where you had your Spider-Man guy.
Oh yeah,
We had this giant spider helmet.
I had this armor with these horns. These like
I
devil
mean, these
horns.
are like tentacle horns.
Yeah. And the armor was just it was blue and red.
Yeah.
So it looked like Spider-Man. So I had my greaves and my armor was
plate mount.
like blue, half red.
I mean, this
and
looked
it
like
just looked-
Spider-Man with a giant helmet.
If I was a creature and that guy walked in, I would be. I would just kill myself. I would just.
Whoa, that guy has great fashion sense. And it's terrifying. But no, yeah, we played, we co-opted it with our friend Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler Carpenter.
Yeah.
Way back. That was also when we first played Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Original Call of Duty. We played Vice City. Oh shit, played a lot of stuff. Medal of Honor.
Original one.
One of the Medal of Honors. Allied Assault. Specific and Allied Assault, right?
Did he?
Oh,
did he have
I'm thinking of
that game that was it was that shooter, but it was just unbelievably
Painkiller.
violent.
Painkiller.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like really
Like
high.
guts spewing out. And,
For the time, it was also really high frame rate. That's what I remember about it. Just like everything moved really smoothly or really fast. I'm sure it looks like crap nowadays, but it was just like I remember, and yeah, it being ultra violent.
Very gratuitous.
Just everything like it was like Quake speed. It was so fast. But yeah, Neverwinter Nights. So yeah, that's getting an enhanced edition.
Is this something that you would recommend, like the RPG players? Like, is this more like a Tales of Numenera? Is this like what? Like, is it? I'm trying to think of the other big RPGs. Like, is it like a Divinity? Is it like
kind of like Divinity? Neverwinter Nights is like it's a classic. A lot of people have heard of it, and I think probably mostly because it's the Forgotten Realms fantasy universe, which is the R.A. Salvatore books, Baldur's Gate kind of universe. Neverwinter, The Underdark, stuff like that. So it's a popular in literature, popular universe. So I think it had that kind of a Lord of the Rings game is famous because it's Lord of the Rings. It's not like, wow, I love this game about elves and whatever these other things. It's like, oh, I like the franchise, like the property. But Neverwinter Nights had a big modding community. I think it was the first fantasy game at that time that was kind of really solid. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It just felt like what has now led to Skyrim. What has now led to the way fantasy games are now. It's. I played it kind of recently, about 6 or 7 years ago, and it's primitive by standards. Controlling it is really wonky and stuff. So I hope they clean some of that stuff up. But I don't know what. We didn't play a lot of it, but
we played
enough
just a little bit. I mean, again, those are in the PS2 era, so
yeah. So this would have been 2004,
early PS2,
yeah,
maybe 2003 that we played it.
So I mean, we didn't really play any fantasy games other than I only was familiar with the Final Fantasy franchise, but
Heroes in Order.
It was actually one of my first PC games. Well. Really?
Yeah.
One of my first PC games that I played, so.
It felt like a PC game. This isn't the kind of thing where you're controlling the character with a stick and he's hacking and slashing and stuff like that. It was very much, click, here's the enemy, use this skill, whatever. Engage in combat.
Because we were also into D&D.
Yeah, at that time we were actually playing Dungeons and Dragons alikes.
It's interesting to get, instead of your thinking about it, you're like, oh, I can actually visually see.
Right, that's really
what my character is, and then
I'm in the game. This is my guy. It wasn't the.
So you can take on that role. And you're like, oh, I'm the paladin.
That's why
I have my bastard sword.
Yeah, that's why I think I felt like it was the first really solid, at least for us, solid iteration of I'm playing a guy that I made in this game. A custom fantasy dude. Wow, he's cool. I'm gonna make a wood elf with a cool cape. I'm gonna make a guy with a big sword. Whoa, look, it's us. It was this mind-blowing experience of that's my guy and that's your guy standing there at the same time. So I don't know if anyone else has that kind of association with Neverwinter Nights, but we do.
So it would be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, it's been a long time since that game, and certainly we've seen many games that have come out that like Skyrim that have kind of scratched that similar itch, but done it better.
Well, yeah, of course, it's the next evolution of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'll probably check it out.
No, is it just coming out for PC, or is it a...
I don't know. I would assume.
I
think Neverwinter Nights is a really... Now, we were talking earlier because we all jointly kind of remember that there's a Neverwinter MMO.
Yeah, a free-to-play. They have it on the PlayStation.
Neverwinter,
Yeah, a free-to-play Neverwinter online.
And I thought it was Neverwinter. I was like, oh, the Neverwinter Nights. And I started playing it, and I'm like, oh.
So you actually have played it.
Well, I played probably 15 minutes.
Yes.
I haven't played it at all.
Yeah, I played it because you recommended it to me.
Right.
You're like, there's this cool MMM that's coming out. We should probably check it out. Okay, Tommy. Hey, Tommy, when are you getting it? Hey, Tommy. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Tommy, the game's dead.
Neverwinter.
Okay.
Don't even know her.
But I don't know. I didn't.
It's been out for some years now. That's been.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the MMO. It got to a point where it got super repetitive no matter what class you were playing. And that was the thing that I just hated.
It looked like a generic MMO.
It was just it's an MMO. Yeah. You want a flaming horse that hearts out hearts? Pay $10. Like that was the game. Like that was like it just felt like there's nothing but paywall after paywall after paywall and stuff.
I think I stopped halfway through the tutorial.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
It
even.
was just.
I even played further than that. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I can see some parameters in here. Like, the combat was actually good. It's just that it was super shallow.
Was it
super shallow?
Click and you're attacking?
No, it was
or
actually like you
slash?
programmed abilities and you had. It was kind of like Diablo-esque if you were a fighter.
Okay.
Like you programmed like circle was this ability, triangle was that ability, and you
Kind of like WildStar.
yeah, you kind of hack and slash your way through a live realm.
Mhm.
But the problem was it was just so shallow. Like the abilities only got you so far, but the abilities were like super well animated. They had a lot of force behind them. They felt great to use. There's just was a nothing like
Characters in Star Wars: The Old Republic have a lot of force behind them.
Boo.
You were saying.
No, I wasn't saying anymore. That was so bad it stopped all momentum. But actually, the problem was there just wasn't enough of it. It was after you got that sense, you just realized, oh, that's all it was, and then it just died. So I didn't play much more than that.
Well, it wasn't enough to drag me in the first place. So.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Neverwinter getting an enhanced edition, probably
Yeah.
coming to Steam.
I'm glad that this company is doing this. I'm glad that they're bringing, they're doing games that are known games. These are, popular, iconic games.
Yep.
So.
Good for them. Thank you for doing it.
I've wanted to play their remake of Baldur's Gate because I never really played
Oh, I miss
properly
Baldur's Gate.
the original Baldur's Gate. The
Baldur's
PC
Gate
one.
2 is one of my favorites.
Yeah. The PC one is very different than the console one. The console one is the same company, Snowblind, that did Champions of
okay.
Wrath. And so the weirdly, this is like the only game I played on an Xbox was Baldur's Gate 2, the console version, and it's literally Champions of Norath. If anyone's heard us talk about that forever. Whereas the PC one is very much what you'd expect from a PC game, that isometric click, move kind of stuff, not the walking around weirdly creepy environments for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, why is this so creepy? Yeah, more Diablo.
Diablo-esque, yeah.
More Diablo 3, and the original Baldur's Gate is more Diablo 1.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Because it came out about the
it's
same
hard to
time.
word that any other
I
way.
mean, Diablo was like one of the great groundbreaking hack and slash RPG dungeon crawlers, and then Baldur's Gate was right behind it. I mean, it was almost in the same vein of it.
Very much so.
But yeah. But also for those people who get scared extremely easily to the point where you have to keep on rebuying your jeans, SOMA, which is a notoriously scary horror game, is getting a non-scary safe mode, which I think is, I don't know, I think it's kind of funny in a sense.
I think this is great.
I mean, it's great in this, they're like...
As a certified pansy, I think this is great.
Yeah, I mean, are you too scared to explore our game? Well,
Yes!
now you can explore our game however you want without worrying about a death
I think
scare.
that there's a mod for this for Alien Isolation, and I will literally buy Alien Isolation if I can guarantee.
Just to walk around the ship?
Yes, because I love the Alien tech. I love the look of Alien, but I don't want that thing creeping up behind me. Soma, unfortunately, the bummer about Soma for me is I watched it sped run? What's the past tense of speed run? Speed ran?
Speed ran.
Speed ran or sped run?
I watched someone speed run it.
I watched
Play it really quickly.
I watched someone do it real good, real fast.
Speed run.
During Games Done Quick, and so I had the ending.
I watched the speed runner.
I watched the speedrunner
There you go.
do it from behind, and so I had the whole story and ending spoiled for me, which is which is a bummer, because this would have been something that would have been really cool to see if they kept the story but took jump scare elements out of it. It's a psychological horror that has a really cool. It's not a twist like Luke, I'm your father, like, holy shit, punched in the gut kind of twist. It's more like slow realization of, oh my god. And it's a really cool one, and
I'm the crazy one.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of in that vein of, like...
I've been in a mental institution the entire time.
You know, the original twist for I Am Legend is that Will Smith is the bad guy the whole time. You know, stuff like that. Like, oh, he wasn't the protagonist, he's the antagonist. It's kind of that sort of...
Psychological kind of thing.
And so... I love the idea of this. I'm not averse to a game being creepy. I have no problem with a game being like, ooh, you know.
Now,
and
where do you put Bioshock in all that?
Bioshock is creepy.
Bioshock
is creepy. Granted.
It did have some jump scares.
Yeah, you spin around a corner and there's a...
Burger.
A leaper? What are they called?
Oh, yeah, the leap. Yeah, like the weird, like...
You know, the ones that have the hooks.
Yeah.
And it just comes down off the ceiling. It's like... yeah, that sucks. That really just genuinely sucks. But there's something about BioShock where it's like you see
The atmosphere.
you see a Big Daddy just stomping on the other side of the
And
room.
you freeze going, I hope he doesn't.
It's like that scene in The Emperor's New Groove where he's like going dun 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 dun. It's like I like that. I don't love it, but I like everything else about BioShock so much. Dishonored is perfect.
Mhm.
Dishonored is perfect because you are this uber powerful assassin who is trying to not get noticed. It's like, if I get noticed, it's okay, hide that body, but you challenge yourself to not get noticed. So it's creepy in the sense that it's not something that's going to jump out at you. You just don't want to be seen. You see a guard and you're like, it's tense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, ooh, he's walking by, you're
There's a
hiding
level
under a
of-
desk, and you see his feet come up and stop, and he turns, and then he keeps going. You're just like, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's fun creepy. Like, oh. And yeah, there is some like actual genuine creepy Dishonored stuff. But something like Soma, I don't like the game you're running around the corridor and the monster jumps out and goes, "Wah!" That's cheap. You know, it's a cheap scare.
Yeah.
Tell me it has something to do with it. So that's the scene in Lord of the Rings where Bilbo is giving Frodo, he's giving
Yeah.
Frodo the ring, and all of a sudden he just goes, "Ah!" Friggin' great, because it had a great effect. It was this effect of like, here, have this thing, I'm not crazy, I promise. Wow! And so it had a good effect. But you have these games where it's just like, okay, and now
Jump scare after jump scare.
Prey is kind of there. Prey is something where
Mimics.
it's like, yeah, literally the enemies in the video game Prey are called mimics,
Yeah.
and they imitate an item in the environment. So,
That's great.
They're guaranteed jump scares. They're literally they
yeah,
were designed to be jump scares.
it's jump scare of the game. However, because I played the demo for Prey, I would like to play the full version of Prey. What happens is you enter a room and you see 2 coffee cups on the table. You go. So you have a weapon or like a gun or a wrench or
You
something,
shoot one.
and you hit it, and then it's like, "Blah!" Transforms into the thing.
Well, I think the best thing about it is
Or you see,
you'll see a 4-person table with 5 chairs.
yeah,
Wait
and
a
it's
minute.
stuff that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
It's stuff that's not like.
or you walk into a room and there's a book that goes,
See, that's interesting.
and it's interesting.
But it's not like you walk
see a
into-
chair just kind of like.
It's not cheap.
yeah,
It's clever.
you don't go into
Yeah.
a bathroom and see like a TV. Wait, that's a mimic. You know what I mean? It's not like
yeah,
super
yeah,
obvious.
it's stuff that makes sense.
It's-
It's stuff that
yeah.
makes sense. But yeah, so I like the fact that there's this Soma safe mode coming out. I do think the story's cool. It's cool in the way of like Twilight Zone, like whoa, oh, you know, kind
That
of.
creepy wonder.
Yeah, and the ending is interesting in terms of the
They'll
themes
leave
of
it.
the game. Yeah, so I think people should check it out. I unfortunately again I won't because I've
Kind of already know everything.
spoiled it.
Yeah. But going to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is out. It's a thing. It's
I forgot that this was a
officially-
thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know these two played a ton of Lego Marvel 1, and then based on their review, I played a ton of Marvel Superheroes 1,
Mhm.
and I absolutely loved it. It's a game where
Now we should specify really
Yeah.
quick. Lego Marvel Superheroes is different from Lego Marvel's The Avengers. They're similar,
yeah,
but the Avengers one I didn't play it. I guess it was more
Avengers
tied in with
yeah.
the Avengers. We're talking Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, it's weird because they kind of do both. It's like if
Well,
a
the first-
character exists in the movie, they'll do the movie version, but then they have like a roster of 100 characters.
Yeah,
so
I
they'll
love
be
it.
like, here's
Magneto and like Ant-Man
and they'll be like the movie versions of Magneto and Ant-Man. You know, it's like Paul Rudd Lego.
Yeah.
But then Ant-Man was great.
It wasn't even-
I liked it. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't.
You would like it a
You would,
lot.
yeah.
It's really up your alley. It's clever. I like it. She wasn't a fan. I think that he would like it.
I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's great.
But anyway, Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah, so Lego Marvel's Lego Marvel's Superheroes
Yeah.
kind of mixes the cinematic and the comic, and it's just this great, joyful celebration of Marvel stuff in a Lego world. It's like you have a full rendition of Manhattan, plus little mini worlds based around. I guess they ramped that up for this
Yeah.
one. Based around like, oh, it's Thor's place. You know, it's that place.
Asgard.
Yeah, Asgard. Yeah, and they have campaign stuff, and the campaign's really cool because
really
you
good
play
mission,
through originally as a certain character or two, and then you see things that's like, oh, I could only go back and destroy this as the Hulk or a stronger character.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, so you have to go back, and it wants you to go back. Wants you to go back and and play. The light. Wants you to go back and play as other characters, so it gives you a reason to play. Lego Marvel Superheroes is the last game that I 100%ed every achievement.
I didn't get it quite that far, but I absolutely loved the game. And one thing I like about the Lego universe, like Lego Star Wars, Lego's anything nowadays, I love how they can convey the perfect conversation and tone with 0 words. Like, they don't ever
Or just throw the action.
There's no vocals. It's always like and it's always like you get exactly what they're doing.
There were vocals in Marvel Superheroes, but in all the other ones they don't. And
yeah,
you're exactly right.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's just like a picture. It's like picture.
Oh yeah, like they
Luke,
would,
I'm your father.
Yeah,
It's
Luke,
like,
I'm your father. It's like it's fun.
Burger. Yeah.
And Lego it's fun.
Yeah, it's literally it's so lighthearted.
Nostalgic too. But.
Yeah, it's nostalgic. We played a game where we were like, I think the Hulk and Hulkbuster Iron Man, and you could pick up cars.
Yeah.
Because it was like GTA. It was like a fully functional Manhattan.
Yeah, you can do whatever you wanted.
And so we would pick up cars and we would chuck them at each other and try and get them to break in the middle of us. And meanwhile, you have all these civilians running like little Lego civilians, and you break the cars.
Mayhem.
Yeah. And the cars, when they break, it's the end of the Lego bricks go flying everywhere. It's just this really. Yeah, I like Lego games. And
I mean, I like
Marvel.
because it had a nice mix of.
It's a good combination of parts.
Yeah, because it had a really great campaign. It had a lot of like side quests. It had a lot of little scavenging quests. It had a lot of there's a lot of oh my god, Easter eggs everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Easter eggs up everything, and it's just incredible. And then like all the flying characters. Oh my god,
yeah, playing as Iron
Man.
You
actually get the fly.
That was so much
fly around the map.
So fun.
You can fly up to the giant Avenger. Hovering ship. Whatever that's called.
Yeah,
we cannot
remember the name of that last week too.
For
the
carrier
ship,
thing, the Harrier or whatever it's called.
The Avengers ship.
Yeah, it's called. I don't know what it is.
The Avengers ship.
The Avengers ship is what we're gonna call it for
I ship it.
ATLT trademark, patent pending. I love the fact that when I got my first flying character, you could literally fly everywhere.
Yep.
And like you could supersonic it. It was great. And then Spider-Man, you could swing everywhere, and it was just it was awesome.
And you could just switch characters on the fly.
Yeah, or then you can make a custom character. The custom character.
Yeah, that's right.
With various parts.
Yeah,
that's right. It's like Captain America's shield and Thor's helmet and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you can make a really wimpy guy who has the powers of the Hulk or something.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. It's great.
No, Lego Marvel Superheroes, the original game, I just sank as many hours in as it took to do the whole thing, including the achievement where you have to transform from Bruce Banner into the Hulk 100 times. That was the last one that I just was standing on that carrier, on that Avengers carrier, just hold square to transfer, hold square to transfer, hold square to transfer, hold square to transfer. And there was like I think the final thing was a Stan Lee Hulk that you unlock. Yep. It's just the Hulk with Stan Lee's like Lego head put on it.
But
Marvel Superheroes 2, obviously the original
Lego
Marvel Superheroes ended. The very last thing I remember is I showed the Guardians of the Galaxy and they said, who are those guys? So it was before that movie came out, the first one.
Yep.
So
that's kind of where it takes off. It's basically, from what I've read, a lot of the same stuff in 2, which is, I think, a good thing. I mean, they're just keeping it going with exactly what they're doing in one that was successful.
Yep.
They cranked it up to 11. They added more heroes into it.
It's good all ages fun because I think I think a kid would enjoy this game.
We were 20 when we liked this game.
Well, yeah, I like it now, and so I think that it is for young gaming parents.
It's just truly E for everyone.
Yeah, E for everyone in the sense that it doesn't feel kiddie.
Yeah,
it feels like genuinely fun.
Like when you're Spider-Man, you can like grab 2 people, smack them against each other, and they explode into Lego bricks.
Yeah.
You're going.
It's
awesome.
The
it's
campaign
so
is
much fun.
challenging.
Right.
It's actually challenging.
I remember that
the puzzles.
That
and
one
all
puzzle
that
you had to do something really obnoxious, and you had to climb up a series of ladders.
That's
right.
such a
within
Lego
specific
game
amount
thing.
of time.
Yeah.
And you kept falling off. It was getting rather frustrating.
Yeah.
I'm sure I wasn't helping.
Tommy! Well...
I was probably Spider-Man and like, hey, guess what?
Spider-Man at a water level. This is not going well! But yeah, it's a fun game. We recommend it. Probably Superheroes 2 is probably going to be great.
Yeah, everything I've seen so far, really great. We're going to move into our playlist. So, we've been covering Destiny 2 for the last 3
Since
or
it
4
came out,
episodes.
since before it came out.
We had my impressions, your impressions, my final impressions, your final impressions. Well, guess what? Destiny's also a console game, and we're actually going to get Alex end of the review for the PlayStation side of it.
Only experience I ever had with Destiny prior to Destiny 2 was at your house
So,
with the original game.
Oh yeah.
so you're playing your Warlock, you're at level 20, you're not completed with the story, but you're
Right.
still, you're still basically much in there. So what do you feel of Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1, your overall impressions, all that other fun stuff?
So it's kind of like
Don't let Tommy's love
Yeah, I know.
sway your judgment.
Oh yeah,
No, no.
yeah. Don't feel
No.
biased to answer any particular way.
No, I know. Well, I just go back to Destiny 1. When it originally came out, it was, well, as everyone knows, a little hyped
It was-
up more
yeah, it was
than what it actually was, and to
Destiny
me, it's not a solo game. I enjoy
play
playing
along with your brother.
I enjoy
Yeah.
playing with someone else. That kind of makes games more fun. You know, when games aren't 100% there, you have someone else to play with. You can, it kind of makes it better, makes the experience better.
Right.
And Destiny 2.
If a game isn't great, it's
Right.
still like
You
It's
can
still
make your fun out of
enjoyable.
it.
Yeah.
And they did improve and make it better. Certainly, it's much better than the first one.
Yeah.
And
A lot
and
better
I
launch.
I do enjoy. There's more stuff to do. There's more side quests, and they're actually instead of just hey kill this enemy and collect this quantum reactor, and then you go to another beacon and it's like kill this enemy and collect a Hydra quantum reactor. It's like you just changed, you just added another, whatever. But now there's actually sustenance to it, and although I haven't really played a ton of it because unfortunately it's been difficult to play with other people scheduling wise, but I have enjoyed it. And I think it's been fun, and I did actually end up playing some of the Crucible, which I'm not big on the PvP.
Yeah,
Certainly that's not my. I won't buy a game for PvP.
Right.
If it's like an add-on, like hey, guess what? We have this
It's
great campaign. we have this
genuinely fascinating to me that you played the Crucible.
Right, and
I know that how much that's not you, Jim.
And I was actually, because the whole thing, you have people that are just awesome at it, and you just get demolished.
Mm-hmm.
But
I played a Crucible match where our team ended with a score of 3.
wow.
Yeah.
For you,
There's
ending the
that
three.
one 2. There's that one mode, I don't remember what it's called, but
Typically
it's
you end
basically-
like maybe 60 to 70 or something like
Right,
that.
that's-
It was like 3 to. If they ran out of digits.
But yeah, there's that mode that you have 8 lives split between your members.
Yeah.
And it was 4 on 3. So we were outnumbered, but it was almost better
Yeah.
in that way. Because
Yeah.
we were able to,
You had
Top.
more lives to go through, yeah.
amongst each other, we just completely decimated. We didn't lose a single life.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun to me. But going back to the game, my overall impressions, it certainly is less repetitive, but and it's nice that there's an actual map.
Yeah.
Like that's. A
Oh,
nice
was that
thing.
not a thing?
No, that was not a thing.
Oh.
You kind of were just like, where do I go?
Good
How do
landmarking.
It literally was you spawned
Take a
on
left
like
at the big yellow rock.
well, it basically was you spawned at the moon and you followed your point. You just kept on going around turns and hopefully you found where you're supposed to go. I mean, it was. But the flip side of that was the maps were small enough where you could memorize them. So you already knew
Right.
like, oh, I'm doing this mission. I'm gonna go
Oh.
over here, up here, down
Sure.
here. But it's actually nice, yeah, to your point, to have
Right.
the map now. That it's a big change.
Yeah, and it's a step in the right direction.
Yep.
And I have fun if other partners
Yeah.
will continue playing. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to beat it and whatnot.
Get a PC.
This guy. I think it's progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy playing as a warlock. I do enjoy the new abilities, and
Have you tried any of the other classes?
no, I haven't
Boy.
actually.
I think you'd like the hunter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen the moves.
I think you like the hunter.
I think you'd
Hey,
have.
random guy in the street. I think you would like the hunter.
I think-
Yeah,
I
I don't know. I
the
like
kind
the
of guy who would like a
blink
hunter.
ability. That's one of my favorite
Oh
things.
my god, the blink ability. The blink ability.
Oh, that throws me off.
The blink
so much.
ability in the beta was one of the most confusing
It's still
things.
like that.
Because
it's still like that.
I love it, but at the same time, I can't stand it because it's kind of like you have no
So
realm
you have
of
to
reference.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have no
you have to be
reference
100%.
because
most characters
you
have
like-
most characters
it's-
have variations of jumps,
Yeah.
and when you jump, like with, real life, you go with the jump.
You know what you're doing.
Following the
you can
momentum
see
of
the
it.
entire thing.
The Warlock, one of the
Boy.
subclasses, has a jump that's called a blink, and it actually teleports you forward.
Yeah, that's
Teleporting works in a third-person game when you can see your character go
Yep.
whoop. When it's in first person, I
oh,
don't
it
know.
throws me off
I
so
don't know how
bad.
it's basically-
Overwatch does it with Tracer and Sombra and
Yes.
stuff, but it's like it moves you. It's like when you teleport, you see everything just whiz by fast. In Destiny, it puts you at
It
point
literally-
B. All of a sudden, you press the button and you're from
You're
point A
instantly
at
forward.
point B. It's like, whoa,
You need to know where you're going.
It takes, you basically, like, you play it enough, you understand, like,
Yeah.
oh, I know I jump from here to there, I'll be able to make it. And when you do that, you're like, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times
But I
where
started
you-
playing it. Yeah,
there's a
figured.
recharge, so there's a lot of times it's like, blink, blink,
yeah, yeah.
That's the problem.
it didn't recharge. And
No.
so a lot of times, you
So
you
which-
forget that.
Or
Are you
I think
using
I'm
that
going this-
subclass? That's the
The void.
The void
walker.
subclass, yeah.
And that's what I enjoy.
so you got the
in first
magic
one.
ball that just
Yes.
slaughters. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause my
I
problem-
like the I think it's the Arc one.
Yep.
Where you have
the
the
lightning,
Palpatine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like very
yeah.
And you can also
Yeah.
blink too.
Yeah.
The very first time I ever used a blink ability, it has to be the most comical, no matter who you are, because you don't know what you're in store for. You have no idea how far it goes.
Yeah.
I remember we were doing the inverted spire on the beta,
Yeah, that was the only strike
and
during
it
the
starts.
beta.
It starts out with a jump puzzle, and I remember just boop.
Yeah. Oh, that's what that does.
Like once I got a hang of
Yeah.
it, I thought it was cool. But then when you start doing it mid combat, it throws you off because like
Yeah.
when you, like to your point, when you jump with a normal jump, you can see the guy go around you or something.
Yeah.
This one you're like, where the hell did he bang? Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Like you have
It's
no
probably
idea.
really good in PvP.
Oh, yeah. It's just
Actually, I will say, I had this awesome move. We didn't win. Our team didn't win. But there's this one map. I don't remember which planet it's on.
Mhm.
But it's this kind of, half moon open area.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of storage containers,
Mhm.
or I'm assuming. And it was like 3, 2, 1 countdown. This other guy jumped. I jumped, and I blinked. And when I blinked, I turned and did my melee attack. And he tried to do his melee attack, but I was slightly quicker.
Yeah.
So it was like, blink, dead.
Oh,
I was like, yes!
Yeah.
And then it just ended like 0. I was like, that was satisfying.
Yeah.
lost, but-
Destiny's PvP, the Crucible. I've played a good amount of it. I certainly have not nearly what I do with a regular dedicated PvP game like Overwatch, but I've played a good amount of it. I think I'm pretty good at it, like so I can enjoy it. Those moments are few and far between.
Oh,
but
yeah.
when you have them, you just want to jump out of your chair. You're just like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. Things where it is like, I've gotten the jump on guys. Like, I mostly play as my hunter, and the hunter is all about dodging. And so you like, especially my subclass, it's like if I use my melee, it refreshes my dodge, and if I use my dodge, it refreshes my melee on a kill. So, the melee on a kill refreshes a dodge, and if I use my dodge, it refreshes a melee. So in PvE, it's just this boom, dodge, boom, dodge forever until all the enemies are dead. PvP, it's like I went and tried that once, like boom. Oh, I didn't kill you. And so it just was like I had to completely change it. It's gun centric. The melee is good, but it definitely wants you to have some. I've noticed that there's some guns that are like use this gun in particular. There's certain guns that kind of rise to the top, which I don't really like.
there's always a meta for Destiny.
Yeah.
Crucible.
It's like, oh, here's your.
You
want
to use like these.
You
want to
use
guns
this equipment setup and this
Right.
gun if you want to
with this armor.
do well.
Yeah.
You'll do okay, but if you really want to do well, it's like, oh, there's this kind of.
There's min maxing with
Yeah.
Crucible a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with Destiny 2, which is one of the
Use
negatives. I
exactly
hate.
this exotic and have it spec'd exactly towards
And-
recovery versus resilience and,
And
stuff
since
like that.
Destiny 2 does not have random specs on their gun, even more so, you can tell someone equip this gun, and every single person that has the gun is having the exact
Yeah.
same foot.
I've had a map like that
Yeah.
where they had, it's like a machine gun or something.
There's an
and it's
auto
just
rifle that's
300,
big, yeah.
300 rounds. And they were just standing there.
Yeah.
It was an onslaught.
Yeah,
They're all,
that's
they're all
exactly what I
Titans,
mean.
and it's just
Yeah.
like, well, we can't do anything.
This isn't fun. This isn't challenging.
Right.
I know how this is going to go. But yeah, I mean, I like it enough. Right now, the Iron Banner is running on PC.
Yeah, we have to play that.
So it's like play the PvP, you will get rewards and kind of thing, more than just a regular. But I love Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I am thrilled to start a Titan alt. Like, I'm eagerly awaiting because Brian was like, oh, I want to start an alt. I'm like, okay, good, yes, excellent. I liked the campaign. I actually had fun with the campaign missions. I like the side quests. I like the characters. I like the ambient dialogue. I like the planets. I love Nessus. Like Nessus is so. It looks like a math textbook. It's like this big It's what No Man's Sky looks like at its best.
Right.
It's this big geometric, weird kind of stuff. We tried to do the Nightfall.
Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, that was great. So, I guess you probably wouldn't, So, in Destiny 1, there was strikes, heroic strikes, Nightfall. All of which
Nightfall
were different strikes. Like, the heroic strikes were the regular strike, but harder. Right. Nightfall strikes were a completely different strike that's just, like, it's longer, it's different bosses. Like, I always described strikes were like one mini boss, one last ending boss. The heroic strikes, same exact thing, but those two bosses are much harder, the enemies are harder. Nightfall, there's like 5 bosses, and the last boss will take you 30 minutes to kill or something stupid. In Destiny 2, there's no... The Nightfall is the heroic version of the regular strike, but with difficulties added onto it. Like the one that we were doing, you could only heal if you were moving. So you had to sprint to fill a heal meter to let yourself start to heal. That took forever, because we're sitting there going, why aren't we healing?
Yeah, we didn't figure that out.
Why aren't we healing dead?
And it's like, oh my god, we don't regenerate health. This sucks. We gotta stay alive. And then all of a sudden it's like,
we read the instructions, and they hit like a freight train. Even the smaller guys could kill you in like 3 shots.
And the other
one was timed. So you had to. There was these little targets scattered around the map that when you shot them,
PS2.
You got an extra 30 seconds. So we would be like, Tom, you go in and find the thing. I'll distract them long enough to die.
Hidden icons. They look like just little.
They're like little glowing balls. So I would go. I'll distract the enemies. You find the thing.
They're hidden.
Yeah.
So you're running around, and it's like you have 15 minutes. Okay,
let's find all
to do
real
a whole
quick
strike.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you have to keep adding
and every time you shoot one, it's 30 seconds. You could blow 2 minutes finding one. And it's just like,
but you need it. And then I remember one time we were looking for him, like it's on top of a roof. Like why?
Yeah.
Like, you can't even get there, but it's
sniper
right there.
Rifle
you get to shoot
good
it.
Auto rifle or something.
So it was like it took us 3 or 4 tries and we just got nowhere.
But we got a little ways.
We got far for 2 people.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah, well that's the thing. It was 2 of them.
Because
it wasn't 3, it wasn't 4, it wasn't 6. You know.
I mean, because it's only 3 people match, but those 2 of us. So we probably could have done it with 3 people. But my God, was it different? Because I missed the fact that it was strike, heroic strike, nightfall. This is purely strike.
I like
nightfall is just the regular strike customized.
You speak of heroics. I like the fact that there are the world events, the public events, and there's a heroic version of each one.
If you complete it in a certain way or quickly
which usually requires more than one person. But Destiny 2, I like it.
I mean, I like it a lot, but to echo Alex's point before we move on, Destiny 2 is much further than Destiny 1 when it launched, but Destiny 1 when it ended was further than Destiny 2 is now.
Sure.
Destiny 1 got really good by the end of the Taken King.
Okay, I didn't play that.
But I mean, like, the expansions to Destiny 1 made Destiny 1 amazing. This one needs those expansions to come out to hopefully get it to that point.
I mean, this is what happens.
It's still good, but it's like Destiny 1 started here, Destiny 2 started here, but Destiny 1 with all the expansions was here. You know what I mean?
This is what happens every time a Sims game comes out.
Yeah,
a new Sims game comes out and it doesn't have pets, seasons, university, etc., etc. It doesn't have any of the expansions, so people are like, oh, this sucks. And it's like, well, yeah, they all have to start somewhere. You know?
Right.
Buy this one with the assumption that 5-6 years from now it'll have all those same expansions.
Yeah. It started better, but it still has room to grow.
Yeah.
So
I have said a lot on here, but just saying, because Alex here, I like playing Destiny 2. I like shooting the guns.
I mean, like moving is really
the movement, especially the hunter, is very fast and fluid.
The sheer gameplay of Destiny is just beautiful.
Yeah, like, I hate using that term, but it fits here. It's the gameplay, the action of getting on your Sparrow and just riding to the destination that
shooting between enemy to enemy, pulling on a different gun, reloading it, using your powers,
firing off your super, and just like going to town. It's
the mechanics, everything just flows perfectly.
It's satisfying, and you can play it in any frame of mind. You can play it in the sense of like, I'm gonna just do a bunch of quests and progress, or I'm just gonna screw around. I'm just gonna land on this planet and
I'm gonna play soccer while we're talking about D&D campaigns.
Yeah, we did that. We did a very high school thing. We're not going to spoil it, but there's a location that you can go to because this is kind of technically
It's endgame.
Yeah, it's an endgame spoiler. But there's
Well, I already
a
know
location-
what it is.
But there is a soccer ball, and
There's a soccer
in
map
this
in it.
location, and we were talking about Dungeons and Dragons for like 45 minutes
While playing
like,
soccer.
like Dungeons and Dragons campaign management while playing soccer.
And no
in
one else
Destiny.
joined for whatever reason. We were the only people
Yeah.
playing with the soccer ball.
Yeah.
But then we found out that there literally is just like 1 or 2 random holes in the floor
Yes.
that we kicked the ball into. We're like, where did it
And
go?
it was the kind of thing, we're running around, we're doing like the dodge slide into the ball just to be cool.
Yeah, and then just
And it's just like, oh shit.
yeah, just disappears, just falls through a hole.
Oh shit. So, yeah, Destiny 2 is
Destiny
great.
2, great. But okay, so I'm gonna go up on my playlist, which isn't much besides the fact that I've been playing Destiny with occasional Overwatch stuff.
Yeah, I've been holding off on Overwatch till the next big season.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be the next big thing. The next new amount of skins, or
Yeah.
when the Blizzard World map comes out.
They have Christmas stuff.
Things like
I'm
that.
gonna
Yeah,
play doing
I went on long enough to dry run Mora
Oh, yeah.
Myra in the
What'd you-
shooting range.
What'd you think of her? Because I did too.
She wasn't as good as her videos made her out to be, but she has purpose. Like I can see her being useful. And she's gonna be best used. It's almost like it's weird because she's best used in the spot where almost Lucio is, because Lucio's he's an AOE heal around himself. So when you're holding a point or moving, it's great. She's the true healer of, while your team is sprinting at the other team, she can buff them as they're running while she does not have to be a part of it. Like, she can be safely away while buffing her team.
Okay, that makes sense. Because
There was
someone-
AOE.
I was talking with someone, and basically what happened, she was saying on Twitter, I love Moira, the new character. I love her. I was just like, okay, explain this to me, because
Like, why do you love her? Yeah.
I don't understand. And she basically said what you just said. And she said it doesn't feel like a first-person shooter anymore. It feels like a different kind of game. Because I'm
you're
in the back
purposely
and,
behind
oh, you
everything.
guys are fighting the fight, and I'm
Here we
helping.
go.
I'm participating.
She actually can damage
And
quite a bit pretty quickly.
and I said, she sounds like the opposite of what I like. I said, Lucio fits me like a glove.
Ding, ding, ding,
I
ding.
love Lucio because he gets in, he can do damage, he can knock guys back, he can do actual assault damage, but he's also healing just by being near guys. She says, I hate Lucio. He's my least favorite character. I went,
There it is.
okay, so you like doing this, it's like you just described,
It's
doing
a
the same
distance
thing
healing.
in a completely different
Yeah, because
way.
I think about it.
Which makes me understand more why they have this character.
He's like,
first. I was like, why'd
she's
they add her?
She's like the Lucio Anna. He's Lucio
Yep.
at a distance. While
Yeah.
Mercy
Anna is a sniper that heals.
It's great.
If she
okay.
shoots a
If-
teammate, they heal.
Wow.
If she
It's
shoots
cool.
an enemy,
Yeah.
and she's basically, that's actually almost more than perfect. She's Anna at a distance with
Yep.
AoE.
Yep.
That's it. Like, that's really what she is.
Yeah, Moira shoots out these balls that jump
either
from
heal or
teammate to
damage.
teammate, and so it
But that's
literally dings, ding, 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 like a pinball.
No, it doesn't. It just moves.
Oh,
It's a straight line trajectory.
see, I thought from the video.
No,
Oh.
because the way it looks, like, that's why, like, on
it looks like that. It goes.
No, like King's Road is perfect because it's a narrow highway, Route 66.
Oh.
You point it down a road, and if people move with it at the same speed, they get a lot of
Okay.
healing. But if they turn, it just keeps going.
So it's like, hey, you see her healing, her giant healing ball
just
coming.
keep going.
Get into it.
Yeah.
Get into her big old healing ball.
It's the
'cause
same thing with enemies though, because it doesn't stick. It never stops. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
So you can't put it
Get
in.
out of the way of her danger
You
ball.
can't glue it to the side of the map, and then it just sits there and does
Yeah.
damage or heals. You literally have to like put it in the right spot to get people to either stop moving or to move. Like that's the thing. It's interesting. She's a completely different character. I don't know how she's going to be in gameplay. I haven't gotten to that point yet. By the way, so what I actually wanted to say was, my only real update on playlists is that I've been playing the South Park Fractured But Whole for yeah. I just basically I've been playing more of the campaign, and it's still my review of it, my impressions of it are still the same. It's not nearly as good as the Stick of Truth. The Stick of Truth actually made you want to explore, do side quests and things like that. The Fractured Butthole is literally only geared towards marathoning the campaign. It's weird. Like, that's literally it. There's some collectibles here and there, there's some side quests, but it's really just do the campaign.
I mean, that could be good.
It's not a bad thing,
Yeah.
but the problem is also the only way you get customization out of your characters, like there's appearance customization, which is okay. It's fun, but not that much fun. And
Is this the game that has the...
It's the Marvel version of South Park.
Well, this is the one that has the difficulty slider.
Yeah, that's skin tone.
Your skin
which is terrible.
tone. Yeah.
Well, not terrible, but they tried something.
I understand what they're doing.
They're trying to say, but it's
Yeah.
it's too heavy-handed. But either way, like the only advancement you get is.
I think that's my apprehension towards these games is it's like South Park humor is about 50-50 for me. It's like 50% of the time it lands, and it's like, oh, that's
and maybe that's the thing.
that's clever or funny. And
In the
50%
stick,
of the time
in
it's
the
like,
stick of truth, that bar is like 80 to 90% of it succeeds in a glorious way. Like I love that game
because it's a good parody. It's a good
everything
satire.
good.
Yeah.
The humor is great.
Yeah.
The missions themselves are great. The battle is great. The advancement is great. This game, it's like 20% of the humor hits. Like that's the problem. Like it's just the only advancement you get is you unlock subclasses that you can pick their abilities, which ones you want. And it could just be me, the fact that I picked all the wrong classes, because when I first started out, you had 3. You had a Brutalist, which is a Hulk. You had a Speedster, which is like the Flash, and I think maybe like an Elementalist, which is kind of like ranged DPS. I really think, knowing what I know now, never get the Brutalist. He's pointless, and that's unfortunately the one I went with. I would have went with one of the other 2 and probably been much happier with my character because I could actually pair and match all the other subclasses.
Well, that's how I felt when I started my Warlock with Destiny, because I didn't like the Warlock till the end of
when you unlock the other
progressing
subclass.
I didn't like him at the beginning. I liked the Hunter right away. I was like, oh, he's immediately satisfied. But the Warlock took me a while. Then by the end of it, I was like, whoa, this is fun. Yeah.
So I guess that's my issue with it. I don't know how far into it I am. But like, I'm still playing it for the sake of I want to finish it so I can put it off my playlist and be done with it.
Yeah.
But it's still just, I can't really recommend it. Like, if you love The Stick of Truth and you just like South Park, this is a great game on a big sale. That's the way I would put it. Like, or maybe if they put an expansion on it or do add-ons or something, but it's just, as it is, it's just not worth full price at all. But that's my big thing. Tom has a lot more bigger and better things to talk about.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Last weekend, recently, there was a, because this will be...
It was last weekend, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be going up several days from
Oh, yeah.
Recently, there was a free weekend for Endless Space 2. Endless Space 2 is a, what's called a 4X game, which is, we knew it last week, expand, exploit, exterminate, and...
Expand, exploit, exterminate.
Explore. Expand, explore, exploit,
you hit the hard one, but
yeah,
not that easy one.
exploit was the one that we didn't know last week.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a strategy game. It's
a grand strategy game.
Like Civilization, Rise of Nations, stuff like
Legacy.
that. Yeah. And Endless Space 2 is, it's a sci-fi one. You are managing, or you are. It's cool. It's kind of like a role-playing game. You are a certain leader of your faction. You are a defined character. It's not just like you're America. You're the elves. You are so-and-so of the such and such. And they're each very different. And it's funny because I started up the game and I looked at the factions. There was one that stuck out to me. I thought, oh, they look really cool and fun. And so I selected them.
The ARC one?
No. I selected them, and they all look cool, but this one in particular looked interesting. I went, yeah, I'll try it. I started up, and it was like choose your level of knowledge, and it was like beginner. You've never played a 4X game. Medium. You've played a 4X game, but not in this particular one. And then the hardest one was like, you're ready to go. And I thought, well, medium, because I've played 4X games. And it just, boom, there you are on the galaxy map. All these buttons and icons and things blinking or not, and just like no clue what anything meant. I was just like, okay, a little too far. So I found out that there was a tutorial, and so I selected it, and it put me with like the human empire race as the generic one, and yeah, it's just kind of like, it was uninteresting, and it just ended up being a disaster. I was like, this is not fun. I don't like. It's interesting enough, because what it does is as you're doing your things, which are exploring other planets, to colonize them, to get resources, to build your empire, there's also a mini story that starts playing out, and so it'll give you kind of objectives. Eventually, you discover the other factions exist in the same galaxy, and they can be like, hey, let's be friends, hey, let's trade, hey, I hate you, hey, I'm chaotic, let's declare war. And so it's like all this stuff is happening, it's throwing buttons and icons and flashing things, all these flashing buttons and icons. And I was just like, I'm not having a good time. I'm not having a good time with this, and so I just shut it off. I just like forget it. I quit before I lose. And then I kept thinking about it, and it was like over the course of the day. This was like Friday or something. Just thinking about it, thinking that other faction that I looked at. I was like, screw it. I'm gonna try them. I now know enough to get started. I'm gonna try them. So they are this race of like opulent lizard fish people that are space gangsters. Like they're the space mafia, but they run entirely on money that they get through illicit means, drug smuggling, things like that. And like the faction leader that you play as is this like large, busty, in charge woman of these lizard people. And I'm thinking, I like the image this is portraying. Like all the images show them of like they're like these Jabba the Hutt versions of them. It's like, oh, these are the gang leaders, you know, they're rich and fat and happy. I thought this sounds significantly more interesting than we're human empire, we're here to conquer, you know. And so I started looking at like what their bonuses are, and it's like, oh, usually to colonize a planet you have to build a ship and then you have to go to the planet and explore it. They can just buy it. That's a bonus to their faction. They can just say, if you got the money, we're buying your planet. And I thought, okay, this is now changing the game in more interesting, meaningful ways. You can literally, when you build stuff, it usually takes an amount of time. Like, oh, we got to build a ship, all right? It'll take in-game 5 minutes or whatever. Well, I have enough money, buy it now. All right, ship's here. And so it just became this more immediate, interesting thing. And I got into the idea of the faction. I got into like the gangster, you know, this story that it's starting to tell, and it was fun. It for a while it stopped being a space game, you know, strategy game. It became a sci-fi game. It became this sci-fi story that I was playing. So I thought that was fun, and I played the whole campaign because there's this kind of story of you taking in this kid under you, and he's kind of this rough on the streets kid, and how do you treat him? Because you do choose things like Crusader Kings. You kind of choose. You know, how do you react to this situation? Do you have a military response? Do you have a political response? Stuff like that. So it was really fun. When I finished, like all in this one single, probably 6-hour session that I played, I was done.
Have your fill of it?
I was done. I was like, I've played Endless Space 2 now, you know, and I feel bad for that, but it didn't do anything besides, again, the cool faction stuff. Like, I loved the idea of this, like, ridiculous lizard people that were just gangsters. They were the mob. They just roughed people up, and it's like they solved their problems through money and underhanded means. It was so cool and interesting. Like, one of the other factions is a race of clones of one man called the Horatio, and he thinks he's the most handsome man in the world, so he just made an entire just race. Not even civilization. I mean, like humans and Horatios. Like, it's just so you come across him, he's like, "Hello, welcome to my beautiful kingdom of me." It's weird fun. I like that. I like that kind of weird fun, interesting. But
not enough to actually keep you
it
going.
wasn't enough for me. I do recommend it for fans of the genre. If someone's looking for something slightly different, but plays in a way that you're used to. If you've played Civilization,
I played Endless Space 1.
If you've played Endless Space, you've played
Endless
this.
Legend.
Yeah, it's not a real-time strategy game. I didn't like the combat at all, and so that's why I really liked.
That's the one. It does lack in it. It's a
That's
combat
why I
where it's
liked-
basically.
yeah.
I have a force. You have a force. I do these things with my force. Hit play.
Yeah, it was all this stuff that wants you to strategize, and it's like I've just.
Because you can build your ships for close quarter combat, range
Yeah.
combat, and that has like different phases of the battle. But you do all that ahead of time and you hit go, and you hope that you know like. Your long range ship, like you choose long range, and the other guy chooses long range,
It's a
and your
chess
long
game
range.
that
Yeah,
plays
it's
out
a-
a cutscene, you know, and it's just like
the cutscene's cool and it's
it's
pretty.
cool. You know, here's your ship, and it's like. Boop, boop, choo, boop, boop,
And you can like control the camera, and you can zoom in and out, and like yeah, and like all that.
You know, it just is like there's an automate button, and every single time there was combat, I was just like, Jesus. Yeah.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you
I
didn't
was
pick-
having so much more fun doing like the negotiating and dealing.
I'm
and stuff
surprised you
like
didn't pick the Sophons, where they're basically just they're.
that. Yeah, there's a race of sentient tree people.
Well, there's people that are just we don't want it to fight at all.
Yeah, they're
and they-
complete pacifists.
And they
I liked the.
they're complete research based.
Yeah,
That's all they do.
I liked the what do you want to call it? Like a government and election stuff. Depending on what you do, is like how your political parties work. So it's like, oh, I'm a pacifist, but I'm researching a lot of technology so that the scientists are gaining political power.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to maintain a pacifism, so I have to like, jig the elections and stuff, so I continue to be, my side. And there's a lot to this game. It was overwhelming very frequently, but when I started making almost my own fun out of it,
You got into the hang of it.
but that was Endless Space 2. I also played, because it was free on the Humble Store, Killer is Dead. Don't play it. Star Wars Battlefront 2, I watched the entire campaign.
But what is Killer is Dead? Is
Awful.
Is it an FPS? Is it an RPG?
It doesn't matter. I don't even want to waste voice time on it. It was so bad. I play No More Heroes. It's so much better. Same guy, too. Star Wars Battlefront 2. We've talked a lot about Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I just want to say I followed through on a suggestion I gave people last week, which was to just YouTube the campaign. I did that. It's cool. It's really good Star Wars. It takes place between the end of Return of the Jedi and just prior to The Force Awakens. And it feels like what I wish Rogue One was. It was like, oh, this is cool, good Star Wars where there's...
Like Rogue One? Okay, good.
Yeah. It's... I'm going to spoil it because of how we feel about Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh, it's Luke Skywalker. Oh, it's Han Solo, but he's got a beard now. It's like they just aged them just enough that it's like, oh, this is in between the 20 years or so.
Whatever it is.
Oh, here's Princess Leia, and oh, she's on Naboo, and she's talking about the Queen. That's her mother. Wow, it's like really cool ways that they not shoehorned. It felt actually like, oh, this makes sense. Leia's commanding an army. Luke Skywalker is alone on this mission, looking for something. He's looking for a compass. Oh, that's The Force Awakens. His map, stuff like that. You play. The only complaint, and a lot of people have said this already, is that it was billed as, oh, you play as the Empire.
Yeah.
You play as you're doing the Empire.
You're a special agent.
That lasts for 2 missions, and then she's like, I'm disillusioned with the Empire. I will join the Rebels now. And you're the Rebels for the rest of the campaign. Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, it literally is like 2 missions of you saying like, gee, I don't think the Empire is doing good stuff after all, and then you just join the Rebels.
That's so stupid.
But, you get over that fast because the story is cool. It's well acted, well voiced kind of stuff.
So you're saying that if you want true, good, wholesome Empire fun, you gotta play Swiltar?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
yeah,
Agent...
Star Wars: The Old Republic is the best friggin' Star Wars game out there.
By far.
But this is really, like, if you like the way Star Wars is right now, like the Force Awakens brand of Star Wars, this is that. It tells that kind of story. It's actually, I wish this was like a made-for-TV movie or something, like an animated film, because it was really good. It's not great, but it's like, it's cool. It does some neat stuff. It doesn't like change Star Wars. It's just, again, like Rogue One, it tells a story around the stuff that fits, that works. It's not like, hey, it's Yoda. I know Yoda from Star Wars. It's more like, Luke Skywalker is here. He's on a mission. Han Solo is here on a mission, and there's a cutscene where he's saying bye to Leia, and she's like, "Now make sure you come back." He's like, "I always come back." Fast forward to The Force Awakens, where it's like, "Gee, I haven't seen you for a while." It's like, so, yeah, and I guess there's a story DLC that's planned because it does end on a sort of not cliffhanger, but like like after credits scene kind of thing. So. YouTube it. It's really good. If you like Star Wars, YouTube the campaign.
What's going on in the Alec world?
Yeah, in my little realm, little sphere.
Your forgotten realm.
My forgotten realm, right?
Of New Hampshire.
Of New Hampshire, yeah. So I've been playing the Horizon DLC, the Wildlands. Frozen Wildlands. And
the Frozen Badlands.
Frozen Badlands. No. It's, I enjoyed Horizon, and I thought that they did a good job. I mean, despite some...
Just I don't stop you, just because it's a PS4 exclusive game, just give people a background and info.
Okay.
Our standard audience might not know exactly what it is if they're not a well-learned gamer.
Right. So, obviously, I'm the PlayStation 4 guy. And so, Horizon is a AAA title specifically for PlayStation. And it came out... Last year? Came out last year, and it's made by Guerrilla, the people who did Killzone.
This year?
Was it this year?
It came out at the beginning of this year.
Was it?
People were talking about that at the same time as Breath of the
Yes.
Wild.
Came out at the beginning of this year.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
So, yeah.
I was with him on that one.
I thought it was last year too.
I'm so confused. But
It came out within 5 years of now.
yeah, within 5 years.
Recently, Horizon Zero Dawn allegedly launched.
So
Covered all our bases.
it's made by Guerrilla, I believe that's the company's name, and they're the ones who did Killzone. So this was
It's so weird to me.
yeah, so weird. So this is just like
Such a
it's like
different
we're going
game.
from a shooter to a RPG,
Open world RPG.
open world RPG. Okay. What?
Nothing.
What?
Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know the lingo.
The lingo of us bickering about open world
He
games.
hates open world games.
The vast majority of the
I
time.
know.
Yeah.
I know. But
Unless they're done right. That's my only
And Horizon's one
stipulation.
where it's done right.
well,
That's why
thing
I actually want to play Horizon.
so
which is weird, but I actually do want to play it.
I like games that have like a polish to them, a finesse, and you know everything's kind of up there.
Breath
It's
of the
not
Wild.
yes, but so the story is really great. It's fun, and well I'll talk about
Go for it.
the DLC. Unless you want me to talk about the story.
Talk about whatever
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really remember
Because,
too much,
because
but
it's an open world RPG where you play a female
yeah, you play a
protagonist
female
that
protagonist.
in a
and-
world post-apocalypse.
So it's like
It's like a future past kind of thing.
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
it's kind of a lot of just so humans essentially just created these robots to kind of help, you know,
make life.
make life
so
easier, and basically they created
I'm expecting you to be like up here next.
they created these robots to be able to kind of live on their own. You know, they didn't need repairs. They could repair themselves. They could eat by absorbing like the whatever like grass and whatnot, like eating
Nutrients,
grass.
Essence,
Yeah.
ambient
and
things.
and then they could reproduce. And then there's like a head. There's kind of like a check and balances, and they like this whole computer system that you know was maintaining this.
Skynet.
Yeah. But basically, what ends up happening is, oh, you learn this towards the end of the game, but obviously went terrible. But yeah, so you're the protagonist. You're this female girl called Aloy, and you start off the game. You kind of find this. You explore a cave and you find this device, and that's kind of how it plays out. You learn some of the past, and that's kind of how the rest of the game goes. And so the DLC, it's not like it takes place after. It's kind of probably like 3/4 of the way through or something like that. You don't have to beat the game necessarily. It's kind of happens alongside.
So it's a
and
side story. It's not Aloy.
Yeah. Well, it's still Aloy.
It is.
But
okay.
it's like
But
a
it's
small.
not. Yeah, you don't have to beat the game.
It's a small detour, and then you come
Right.
back.
And it kind of takes place in a, you know, it's all just snowing, kind of really heavily snowing. I mean, you come out, there's blizzards everywhere. There's a blizzard out. And they've added a few new monsters, creatures, robotic creatures. And
We're
it's
PC
just
here, Alec. Come on. The political correct term is beasts.
beasts, robotic beasts.
Nothing is a monster.
I identify as a basketball.
But yeah, and they did improve. So some of the stuff that I had problems with is their cutscenes weren't the greatest, and their voice actors also, apart from the main actors, it wasn't that great.
For the side quest or for all of it?
Side quests and some, I mean,
I
especially
mean, like
the
for the
cutscenes
expansion or for the, also the main
no, the
base
expansion
game?
they did improve.
Okay.
It's a lot better. There's they kind of had some of the cutscenes were like, oh, hey Aloy, and it's just this weird like panning, and you kind of like it clips off, and it was kind of wonky at points.
Sounds like they just had bad cameramen.
But yeah, but you know, it's like okay, well, it's their first RPG. I mean,
Yeah.
the combat is phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. That's what you play it for. That and
That's
the
actually
story.
what draws me to it.
And this, it's, again, it's like snow, and at times it's just really hard to see. You're like, oh wow, but it adds to it.
Yeah.
And so some of the creatures, like the first creature I came across, and I decided to up the difficulty. I was like, oh, why not?
Yeah.
And it was this creature. It's called, I believe it's called a Scorcher, or something like that. But it's just behemoth type beast, and I was like, lay out traps. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sneak up, and I was like, I'm taking off some of his armor. Next thing, he's just like, what? Just launches at me.
Oh,
Fire
so it
everywhere.
fundamentally changes.
It was big. It just was fast, and it was launching fire everywhere. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
So it's like a different thing that
Like it was just
it would
really
have done
fast.
normally, yeah.
But that had nothing to do with the difficulty. It's just one of the new beasts.
Right,
and then
right,
they have
yeah.
these.
It's probably that they played the game and saw people play the
Right.
game and said, okay, here's something we can do to.
and
people.
on top of that, they have like, there's basically this daemon that's controlling certain creatures and making them, more vicious and
Mhm.
harder, and that's what that was. It was controlled by that, and there's a purple glow, and when you see those, you're kind of like, oh, okay,
Not gonna touch that.
this is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, they did improve
Mm.
upon what the other game. The main game. I mean, the cutscenes and the voice acting are
Sure.
a lot more animated in the sense that there's more
It's a
expressions.
smaller,
It looks
focused,
better,
more focused
Right.
thing.
and the game is just glorious. I mean, you're in
Cool.
these just ridiculously tall mountains, and you climb up to the top of it, and you're on the snow, and you're like freezing.
Cool.
It's just gorgeous to look at.
Yeah.
It's a little. I mean, again, it's a lot of elevation.
Mm.
So when you're fighting creatures, sometimes it's a little tough because you have a melee as well.
Yeah.
Well, you're on elevation like this, and you're trying to swing your melee. Well, you kind of swing
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
How do you aim? Kind
Up.
of diagonally.
Yeah.
So that doesn't quite work out. And then there's a lot of trees, so there's a lot of like tight quarters. That kind of gets a little awkward because in the other game there's a lot more open. They have an entire. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it. But anyways, they have like varying landscapes without too many obstructions. But this it's a little more close quarters, and some of the bigger beasts it's difficult. So at times it helps when you just retreat in the woods and
Mhm.
start attacking.
Sure.
Because one of the things
That's
that
cool.
I don't know if we really talked about was that, this sounds like it's like almost a futuristic game, but realistically, you as a character, you only really have a bow and some like really
It's like
primitive.
a
Well, that's what I meant when I said like a future
It's
past.
a
It's
yeah,
a
but
yeah,
you
you're
have
right.
a bow to take on an entire T-Rex
Yeah.
that's made out of robot parts that has lasers.
It's kind of
and
what.
stuff.
But it's like
when
a
I was talking
hybrid.
about Torment Tides of Numenera, that game takes place a billion years in our future,
Yeah.
and so civilization has risen and fallen, and right now it's at like a medieval stage of just humanity a billion years from now. So it's the same kind of thing. It's
Exactly,
like,
but
we went so far, and now we're back.
But you
to
have-
Yeah, you're trying to understand like what happened to humanity.
Yeah.
Why are there robots, and why are we reverted back?
like, why
to,
do I have a bow and arrow to
right,
fight
like-
a robot? Like, why?
And
like
what
a
was
Neolithic era.
McDonald's? That sounds like it was good.
Right. So it's interesting. That's where the exploration is fun. You find like bits and pieces throughout like
Good lord.
ruins and whatnot. You're like, oh, and you read up like stories from people from the past.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
it's- So
Still,
I recommend the game
Yeah.
There you go.
and the DLC, obviously.
Cool.
Actually, it's weird because I actually do want to get this game.
Is this
It's
the only
interesting.
DLC?
The first
Yeah.
one.
Planned or?
Yeah, I don't think they're doing another one. I don't
Because
know.
I remember
They
hearing the
released
hype.
it. They released it.
I
At
remember hearing the
E3.
hype around this, but I didn't know if it was like this is the first of 3 DLC packs or whatever.
Or is it
No,
the
it's,
end?
I think it's on.
This is
like
an
$20. If you
expansion.
have PlayStation Plus, I think it's like
Yeah, it's 20
or
bucks now
14.
because it's on the deal.
Kind of like how Dishonored did Death of the Outsider. It's
Yeah.
like it's not DLC. It's like, oh, here's an extra chunk of game. You know.
Right.
Exactly.
Cool.
So I don't know if they're gonna do more or not, but
So, our big feature event every week. This one. Were you raising your hand to speak?
no, I caught what she did. Did you guys?
You 4 minutes.
Okay. So this week, our free game of the week is going to be a little game called Tiny Bird Garden. I just wanted to draw attention to this. This is an indie game that's out on mobile devices, at iPhone and Android. Fans of Animal Crossing, you should play it. This is made by my good friend Daisy and her partner in crime, Layden. And it's wonderful, it's adorable, it's very much like that Neko Atsumi cat collecting game, but it's with birds. It's so sweet, it's great,
You've been hyping this on Twitter for like
yeah.
forever now.
Well, there's so much passion that went into this, so you should definitely pick up this game, Tiny Bird Garden. Go check it out, and then follow the developers because they're awesome. Their name's Super Retro Duck. What a great name!
It is a really
What a
great
perfect name.
game. If you're following Dom on Twitter, you're gonna find them eventually.
And you can find us on Twitter at Addicted to Lou.
which is addictedloop.com, where you can find all of
That's our website, but
That is.
that also can lead to our Twitter.
Oh, you're saying? You're doing it out of order. You're throwing
I don't
out the
usually do
outro.
this. I'm panicking.
So you find all this and more at addictedloop.com, so you can find links to this show, which is most likely going to be on YouTube, and also the sound for this show is also going to be on
iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud.
and
It is
all that.
all over the place.
So you can get to our personal Gmail account, which is addictedloop@gmail.com. You can get to our group Twitter, as he said, is @addicted2loop.
That's
That is the number 2. If you want to follow me or Tom on Twitter just to hear all other forms of gaming news, I am at ATL_Atomic Zero. I blacked out there.
I'm at Tomality, TOMALITY, and he's anonymous.
If you want to follow me, you can.
So, we have
Well, I guess that's it then.
We've been Addicted to Loot. Thank you, Tommy and Alec, and as always, keep it.
Oh, we're out of battery.